Hello, my darlings. Welcome back to the Really Woke Show with myself, Really Woke Roxanne, and yourself.
Really Woke Jim.
Lovely to see you all, my darlings. It's been a few days. A lot has happened. We're going to get stuck in straight away to our guests. But without further ado, thank you so much for tuning in. We're streaming live on TheReallyWokeShow.com. We're streaming live on Really Woke Roxanne's YouTube channel. We're streaming live on the Really Woke Show's YouTube channel. And we're streaming live right now on Facebook's Really Woke Show channel as well. So whatever platform you have tuned in to us tonight, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. Tonight, we have got amazing individuals on the show from Nottingham who've been doing an incredible amount of outreach work within their local community, standing up, speaking up, putting their head above the parapet. And we've got a lot of stuff to go through with them tonight, haven't we?
And a lot of them as well.
Yeah. Shout out to the texting crew, Broski Bry on the texting crew. He's got his bits and pieces ready, sat down, ready to jump into the show. Redneck Rebel, Jack Jones, Annette, lovely to see you. T Flip, Jack Stubby, Darcy Geneva. Hello, Roxanne and Jimmy. I've been waiting for you. Lovely to see you. Lovely to see you too, my darling. We've got T Flip there. Good evening, all. No, my evening. Tell me. I'm gonna have to go on my Instagram. Someone's going, Instagram's down. So I don't know what's going on there. We're going to have to double check that. Dr. LA0206 as well. Lovely to see you in the chat room. All of you throughout tonight's show, I want as many of you that are in the chat room to get involved as we go through the conversation. Yeah, you're more than welcome to ask the guest questions. They're well versed on the things that they're talking about, and they're more than happy to go back and forth with questionings. All I would ask everyone in the chat room, as usual, is to try and stay polite, try and keep, yourselves caring with amongst one another. We're at the point now where we need each other more so than we've ever needed each other before. We all need to learn how to play nice. And one way or the other, we can find a way to get through the things that we're talking about without causing division, without arguing. Esh News, my brother over there in Israel, thank you so much for tuning in. We're definitely going to have to catch up soon. I miss you. And Anna, love to you, my darling. Queen of Swords, hello, everybody. It's nice to see some new names in the chat room as well. Lovely. Oh, we've got St. Louis tuned in as well. Lovely to have you. Right, without further ado, we're going to bring in our guest for this evening. We're going to bring in Tom. We're going to bring in Riz, we're going to bring Peter in, and we're going to bring John in. Thank you, my darling, so much for joining us. How are you all doing?
Hi, everybody.
Lovely to have you. So what we've decided to do this evening is we've decided to go through our guests. We're going to give them an opportunity to share their testimony with us and to let us know why they've decided to put their head above the parapet. You're going to get an opportunity to find out a little bit more about these amazing individuals. They're campaigning about a lot of different things. They're involved in peaceful protesting. They're involved in common law. And that is just to name a couple. I won't kind of steal their thunder. I will obviously go through the guests and let them do that for you. But as I said, please get involved in the conversation as we go through. Please like and share. If you're new to this stream, please subscribe on whatever platform you are watching us on. Also in the description, I will be adding links, more links for any of the things that we're talking about this evening. Peter, John, Tom, and Riz may have more information, and we will pop that in the chat room as we go through for you. So without further ado, I shall start up with Tom. How are you doing, my darling?
Yes, I'm okay, thank you. Are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a year and a half, hasn't it, already? There's a lot happened this year, and yourself, you've put your head above the parapet. Could you give my viewers a little bit of a background of where you've come from and why you're where you are now?
Well, I'm an ex-Royal Marine. I joined the Royal Marines because I like democracy. I like the thought of defending democracy, and then so we went over to Afghanistan. Under the illusion of installing democracy, which turned out to be a lie. But all the same, I went over there. I had an accident. I fell from a cliff 60 meters high. I had to learn everything again, walking, talking, everything again. And then now I see what's going on now, and it's just like, well, I thought my world was crumbling apart back then when that happened, but now democracy's gone out the window. It's really bad. I don't like it at all.
So in that sense, Tom, obviously you've overcome an incredible life-changing accident where you've had to literally start from scratch again. As you've embarked through this year, how have you transitioned from watching what's going on to actually being involved in what's going on?
Right. It took me about an hour to work it out what was going on, you know, because I knew I could smell a rat straight away. It stank, you know. I know what I'm looking for. I know the kind of signs. I know that a virus doesn't move around the globe like that. I know I know all these countries and all these, like China, for example, they wouldn't get away with allowing a virus out of their country as such, you know. And then once it is out, then they've got nobody's sanctioning them, nobody's doing anything about it. Everyone's just happily going along with it, and then it going round the world, and yeah.
So even you can see it for the disinformation campaign that it is. You can clearly see it's a disinformation campaign of some sort.
Yes.
You can see the things that are being purported to you don't connect.
No.
How has that made you go from being someone who is at home complying to somebody that is out advocating for speaking out against the narrative?
I'm sorry, say it again, please.
Not a problem, my darling. So how have you got to the point where you're now not just staying at home and complying, you are now, you know, speaking out and peacefully protesting?
Because I can see all the things that's wrong. You know, the PCR test needs abolishing. The governments just need to have more backbone, and they need to go against what's been written, and they need to start serving us, the public, who are voting them in. It's unfair, you know.
Well said, Tom. Well said, Tom. How have your friends and family been with regards to your opinions about what's going on now?
My parents have been quite they've been very supportive. Brother and sister, they just like a quiet life, like everybody does, like a quiet life. But I mean, yeah.
So it's kind of swung in roundabouts a little bit.
Yes, my girlfriend, she's been absolutely fantastic.
Oh, we love that. We love that. I love it when people are in relationships and we've got supportive relationships while we're going through these contentious times. And that's a wonderful example, Tom. So for anyone that's watching just now that's in a relationship, there's one example for you where you can go through these most contentious times and still have your loved one with you while you're doing that. So Tom, if it's all right with you, darling, I'm going to come back to you in a second. I'm going to go through everyone and get a bit of a synopsis from everyone for the viewers. Just sit tight and I'll be back with you in a moment, my darling.
Thank you.
Peter, how are you, sweetheart? Thank you so much for joining us on the Really Woke Show. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing all right. My battery's on 10%. My bloody headphones aren't working properly. I'm in a right dilemma at the moment, but I'm staying positive.
I love it.
Oh, right. But how am I feeling? What am I doing? And what am I up to?
Yes,
I just feel positive. I feel happy, but there's some days I feel down, and some days I feel depressed, some days I feel sad. It varies, but I sort of feel funny at the moment because it's one big comical sketch in terms of who are they trying to clown now, who are they trying to play with, because we can see through this now, and the masses are waking up, and it's delightful.
It is, isn't it? So how, Peter, have you got to the point where you've put your head above the parapet? Why are you not a mask-wearing, compliant citizen right about now?
Because I don't want to be told what to do, and I'm not going to be ordered to tell what to do, and I'm not going to be bullied or manipulated, intimidated and scared and put fear into me. I'm a man, I have a backbone, and I've got a peer, and I will say, no, not me, duck.
And when did you realise that?
This fraudulent farce of a pandemic scandemic. You know, I was a bit of a slow beginner. I was a bit of a slow one, me. I didn't get out of the races until 3 weeks, 4 weeks into the, you know, the show. Like I say, the circus, what we're all in, this charade. But no sooner did I open my eyes and I was awake, I was like, I can't bypass this and dismiss this. I can't act like it's not happening. It's fake. You can't be fake like that. No, that's not on my watch, that. So it gets me angry. Go on.
May I ask you, do you think that you had more time to discern fact from fiction through the lockdown?
100%, without a shadow of a doubt.
This is something I'm starting to see. Yeah. Go on.
And if anything, limbo with me, it can go either any way. It can truly and severely backfire on them, in a sense of, you've locked us down, we've become recluse in our households, you've left us with this valuable device as such, like John was saying earlier before we came on live. You know, social media, this tool, this platform, it's something they should never have created. But more for you guys, because we got it and we use it to our advantage. So, yes, truly and severely, yes, sincerely, it will backfire on them. Because, yes, social media is our tool and we're using it to our advantage. So, yeah, it gave us time to really in tune and intertwined into our side, our heads and in our minds as such, yeah. I really dig deep in the lockdown when I was locked in. I had my back against the wall. I was backed into a corner. Well, what more did I have to do apart from research and study and, you know, so on and so on.
Yeah, it feels like a bit of a perfect storm, doesn't it, with everybody? Because everybody seems to have that same aspect of the lockdown. It was like, oh, well, if you're gonna lock down and then put things like out of shadows on the internet and stuff like that, well, what do you expect society to do? They're going to start questioning the narrative, aren't they?
And exactly, 100%. And what's so funny is this: when you start seeing people's groups, no disrespect to the people that lost the groups and stuff, but the panic in it all, the absolute panic. It was an ambush. It was like, oh, you can only put this up, but you can't put that much up. You can only put a little bit up, but you can't put this content up. Picking and choosing to what people can and can't put on social media because they can't stop it all. They can't. That's funny. So
that was all based on hashtags. They were taking accounts down. So if you use certain hashtags and stuff like that, that's why they were taking you down, like the Great Awakening and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
They were planting it, queuing on and just pulling it and getting rid of the account. We've all lost ours and loads of accounts are gone now.
Yeah, exactly. They disabled my account last week. Didn't even say, oh, Pete, we're giving you one more warning. It was, no, we took it off you. Don't need to tell you nowadays. They don't even need to give you a friendly reminder or anything. It's just taking your account off you. Look, it's going. We're taking it. Yeah,
that's it. It's digital book burning. Peter, thank you, my darling. We're gonna come back to you in a second. We're just gonna go through everyone else and give a synopsis of everyone else as well.
Yes, it makes sense.
Riz, my darling, thank you so much for joining the Really Woke Show this evening, and thank you so much for bringing this plethora of amazing people with you on the platform as well, Riz. I know I've had the pleasure of meeting you in Nottingham many moons ago now. Yeah. And to see you involved in this frontline now, my brother, is an amazing sight to see. And this is why I know it's not a coincidence, because to sit here with you on the panel, knowing that I met you back in 2018 it was, brother, 2018, when we were out there on the streets telling people you lied to in the worst ways, vaccines, big pharma, the history, what we've been taught about space, the whole 9 yards. We were out there getting bananas and tomatoes thrown at us in many places. And now here we are 2 years later, looking at the biggest disinformation campaign that's been purported to humanity. Riz, give everyone a background. I've obviously let the chat room know that we met before, years ago, which you just couldn't make up. Riz, give the viewers a bit of a background. Let everyone know how you feel at the moment.
So hi everyone, I'm Riz from Nottingham, and basically I met Roxanne and Jason and a few others when they came to Nottingham in 2018. Now I've known about the world that we live in for a long time, for 20 years, and I've seen everything play out in front of me. And but the thing is, I didn't have a network circle or someone I could talk to, so I was alone all my life. And had plenty of friends, had plenty of people support for normal things, but no one in terms of who I could talk to with regards to the world being a lie that we're living in. And it was when I met Roxanne and Jason for the first time when they came to Nottingham, and I thought, I've seen them in Hyde Park always giving speeches or awakening the public. So I went down and supported them, and then I thought I need to do this in my own city. And then when this COVID thing came around, again, I was in that same dilemma. I was saying, this is fake. I knew it was coming. And who do I go to? Who do I get to help me? And the same person that helped me 2 years ago came and helped me again. It was Jason Disbury from down south who came to Nottingham, my own city. So he came all the way 200 miles from down south.
On that one.
Yeah, shout out to Jason. He came to Nottingham, and he came with a team of people, brought hundreds of people to Nottingham to expose this lie, which is COVID. And he then gave me the confidence, which is to basically say that, look, it's not just me who thinks like this, it's everyone's on board with it. So now I need to wake the people up in my city. Now, the funny thing is, I didn't know that people in my city were already doing it in March. So from March, people were already protesting at my centre. But I wasn't there because I wasn't aware. So to make everyone aware that you need to network and make sure you get your information across on social media and through friends and family, so that other people who you've never met before can get that information. And just to give you an idea, all these people here today are new to me, and I only met them through this whole COVID scam. So I've lost family and friends who don't believe me, who think I'm a nutter, and I've completely distanced myself from them. And I've made a new family of people who believe me, who are like-minded, but they're completely different to me. But we get along and unite through a common unity of love and wanting peace in the world and getting rid of all this corruption. So, yeah, that's just a synopsis. But,
well said.
Thank you, Riz. That was a beautiful synopsis on how you've got where we are just now. It's a massive collaborations of coincidences, like I said, that no longer are coincidences anymore. So again, I thank you for that, my darling. And by last, but by no means least, John, thank you for joining the Really Woke Show today, my darling. So please let us know how you are, and
no worries. Thank you for having me.
Basically, how you put your head above the parapet. Why are you not a mask wearing, complying sheeple right about now?
Well, right from the beginning, come on, like you could tell straight away. You could fit a pipe cleaner through it and tickle people's lips. So, like when I met Riz, that was the first thing that I was saying to people who was coming up to us in the town square and standing there giving us abuse for doing what we was doing. Like, but you just, you can only stand and reason with them. Do you know what I mean? And try and give them the information. If they're going to bring the anger out, then unfortunately, as Tom witnessed, when people start physically bringing abuse to you, you end up having to do something back, but then you're looked at by the eyes of the laws as doing wrong. It's a horrible thing. But basically, I smelt it straight away. But I've been awoke to all this stuff since I was like 15, 16, because luckily I've had family around me that have all been basically the so-called conspiracy theorists. Do you know what I mean? We didn't ever kind of sit into the whole rat race society. It's just system after system of corruption after corruption. Do you know what I mean? So quite early on, I got into the common law side of things from literally being a little youth, little street hoodlum. Do you know what I mean? And I'd want to know how to get around the police. Do you know what I mean? So I'd follow the old common law videos. I'd literally listen to what they were saying, and then the next copper I'd come up against in town, I'd be trying my luck with it and spouting that information, and or I wouldn't be doing it from an idiot perspective where I'm going up and filming them. I'd go and have a word with a copper and say, is this true? Is this true? And most of them I found didn't actually know the information, which was bizarre. But basically I've been woke from the beginning. So I smelt this out straight away with all of the mask and the muzzle, and I straight away, as soon as I seen the muzzle come out, I looked and I thought, let's just check on the box. And I looked on the box, and it blatantly says on the box, does not stop the transmission of COVID-19. So you didn't need to look no further. So then I went on to the .gov.uk website and seen that it had been downgraded. Now I seen that information getting shared probably around the May, June time. I was clocked onto that in March, but I've never really been one for collaborating my own videos of information or collaborating my like, I've never really wanted to be in the public eye, if I'm honest. But that's obviously where I've done wrong, because I should have been informing people a long time ago on a lot of these situations, especially if I can simplify it for them and explain it to them in a little bit of a better way than what other people seem to put it across, if you know what I mean. Yeah, and there you go on the screen there, it says it. But see, a lot of people don't ever, when you download an app, do you ever read all your terms and conditions?
This is the question. That's right. You're well said, brother.
You don't, do you? You don't go through them all. Me and my youngest sister are both. We don't read it. My oldest sister, she'll fine tooth comb everything, and she'll be like, "Wow." She was the one that told us about TikTok.
You know, when these things start leaking out the way they do, and you go, "There's no smoke without fire." There is absolutely no smoke without fire, right? That was probably one of the first things I was taught by my parents. Normally, if it smells like it and looks like it normally is. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing is when people aren't using their common senses, and people even are like, there might be some people on the other side of the screen now thinking, what's he on about common senses? When you don't use your senses, when you don't use your touch, your taste, your sound, your sight, do you know, when you don't use them, you're one down already, aren't you? All you had to do was look on the side of that box and it told you.
Correct. Absolutely. Well said. And this is what we really want to shine a light on. People have a fear of social reprisal. People have a fear of losing their job. They have a fear of being socially shunned out of society. They've also got a fear of being shunned from their family, right? From their social peers as well. And this is something that I really want us to be able to go through tonight, even while we're showing some things that are pretty hair-raising as we're talking about this tonight. I'm with you on this, John. I really think we need to try and elevate people and give people confidence, make people feel positive their freedom back, and about being you know, whether they're a civil rights activist, a human rights activist, a common law activist, or just that I want to help my brothers and sisters activist. I think there's something that everyone can take away from this, because there's a few different perspectives on things. We've got a few videos to show as well. And if it's all right with you, Riz, at one point tonight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the longer video on a smaller screen beside us while we're talking, just to give people the ethos of the amount of people that have been out through the streets of Nottingham. It was truly humbling for me to see where I stood with you, all of those people walking there. If someone had said to us when we were stood in Nottingham 2 years ago, by the way, in 2 years from now, massive disinfo campaign, basically every McDonald's is going to shut down. That Formula One stuff, they're going to shut that down. That whole Hollywood thing, they're going to shut that down too. Schools everywhere, they're going to tell them to go home. We would have laughed, and they would have, like, people at the time were calling us nutters and throwing at us.
And now we're still nutters.
If someone had said that, I would have said, "Do you need me to call someone for you? You're right.
You're
right,
but they did do all that. They did do all that at the beginning, and now they've done the exact same thing. But then now the kids are allowed to go to school, and everything is allowed to go on, but you're still getting the same treatment.
Exactly.
They scared you at the beginning. Don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, don't go in playgrounds. But now outdoor gyms are shut, but playgrounds are open. They just contradict everything they do in every way, and then we're expected to go, okay, all right then, but clearly
it's like the whole the supermarket thing. Straight away they wanted you to all herd into a supermarket. Now look at it from an aerial perspective. Look at it from a bird's eye view. Imagine shutting every business, every shop, corner shop, everything down, and sending all of the people to just the Tesco's and the Morrisons and the Asda's. So you're surging the whole of your city. So look at Nottingham from a bird's eye perspective. All of your city now has to go through them stores. Why aren't all the checkout service people dead? Why aren't they all dead? If there was a virus and we were passing that virus about, they'd be the first to get it. They'd be on the front line. So they should have been in hazmat suits. They should have had biohazard bins. The aisles should have been 3 meters apart.
Shouldn't
or
everyone be putting the masks in the yellow bins though? Because I see masks on the ground, in the park,
everywhere,
on the bus,
in the ocean.
Yeah, literally everywhere. Absolutely everywhere.
And this is what I mean. If people couldn't spot it out, I was having an argument with the manager in Audi in Nottingham in March. He was saying, "Oh, you need a trolley between you and your girlfriend." What? We both need a trolley? Yeah. What for? To keep the 2 meter distance in. Well, can you go onto aisle 6, please? And can you get one of them tape measures out, because your trolleys are about 1200 mil long, so they're not even 2 meters. And plus, are you going to make a 99-year-old couple both push a trolley around when they don't need it? No, of course we're not. So why are you discriminating against me then?
Yeah.
Like, what is going on? Do you know what I mean? Like, it was unreal. And I told him straight, if you want me to put one of them masks on, I'll walk out with the shopping without paying for it, because that's the type of person I am. Do you know what I mean? And he turned to me and he was like, just let him pay for his shopping, please. Because I was not prepared to walk back and get a trolley so that I could stand not by the side of the person who I lived with at the time. It's just ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? If people couldn't fathom what was going on back then, or only one of you from the same family can come in. If people couldn't fathom this, it's like, where you been for the last... Where you been? Where are you? You're not present. And I think this is the problem. Most people don't live in the present. They live in the future or the past. They're thinking about what they're doing tomorrow, or what happened to them last week. They're not in the present.
Yeah, well said. People are resonating in the chat room as well. Michelle says, "Why are the police, affected? They've been to almost every single protest. Yet
and they're rammed in.
I've got pictures of them in the meat wagons
in your face at the start of the pandemic. They were the ones that were in your face. I'm going, hold up. If it's that much of a threat, why are you in my face? There's only about 10 of us out here. What are you doing?
They do show their support though, don't they?
That's right.
They do. They're there at every single protest.
Yeah.
Absolutely every single protest.
Every single protest I've been to, before it's all started kicking off, because I'm not being funny, I've been there early, walking around the squares, looking at all the police and people. I can watch people walking into the square or going to walk up to the square as a couple of people, and they're looking at the square and they're diverting and walking off and going to a cafe or going to a nearby Costa Coffee or one of the main ones that are still open, which is obviously part of the plan. But anyway, so they'll be going off to them coffees, or they'll be going to walk through the park rather than going into the square because of the heavy police presence. Yeah. But I wouldn't do that. I'd go and I'd walk around and I'd say to the police, do you know anything about common law? And do you know how many of them have not got a clue of what it even is?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't even know what it is. And that is a very scary thing. Yeah. If they are pushing law, so basically they're pushing maritime law. Black's law's a book this thick. If they don't know all of that, how are they in that uniform? How are they enforcing all of that law?
This is what makes this really interesting, because this is like a coin with two sides. Either way, they've not done us a justice, right? They've done that first and foremost, and that's absolutely paramount. But even if their oaths were to be taken seriously, right, they're violating our human rights on top of that. So we've got a double whammy going on here, where either way it ends up with it all ending in tears for them. We've already seen the courts getting their checkbooks out straight away and just going, well, how much should we put in there for you? Sorry about that, wrongful arrest and all that. They know these arrests, whether you're looking at common law or human rights, unlawful.
Yeah, but then this is the problem that you have with all of these people going through these systems as well. Yeah, because they'll go through it with the common law, get a payout, and then it's kind of like the whole crash for cash thing. Do you know if you can get away? Do you know if you can get away with it and you can get some money in the bank?
We can have police chases instead of.
You're gonna keep going. No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying even some of the activists that people are like, oh, are they a shill or not, or are they in it for the money? Or are they in it for the sponsors that they can get online? Or all of this? Yeah, it's all paid. I'll tell you now, I ain't doing none of this for money, none of this for fame. I want neither of that. I want peace, love, and transparency going forward for everyone. And I want simplified systems for people like, I've got my family, my mum, she fosters, and we've got a little foster brother who's been with us since he was 4. He's now like nearly, I think he's in his 20s. Yeah. And I class him as my brother, but he ain't going to be able to navigate his way through doing stuff like a live life claim and this and that and the other to come out of the so-called society that's a fraudulent system. So us as the mid-aged people or the educated people, we need to be reforming these systems so that people like that can navigate the way through it and simplify it for them. Because otherwise, how are all of these kids that are growing up with disabilities and this, that, and the other, how are they not just going to get the wool pulled over their eyes in every scenario and situation?
Correct.
Do you know what I mean?
A massive amount of people resonating with you, John, in the chat room as well. And honestly, I will get into the chat room and I will bring all of your points up, valid points. A lot of people are agreeing with you 100% there, John. And I really think we are going to have to kind of delve into this a little bit tonight, because a lot of people have got a lot of opinions on this. And I'm loving the non-division in the chat room right now. And this is we're all in this together. Whether do you know, and this is one thing that you've said on the police lines. Jim's brought this up on the police lines when he's tried to interview the police. He said, our children have got to play together. You might be an officer, but one day our sons may play on the same football team. And they might not choose to be a police officer. In that, you say
they're going to be treated like dogs, like everyone else. They've got to live in this future what you're creating for them, a fear-based future, where we're taught to bring fear into our children and bring pain and suffering into their life. But by bringing all this stuff into their life, as adults, we have a responsibility to shelter our children, not throw it all at them and say, right, you deal with that. I've heard reports of people saying, go and wash your hands or you kill your brother and all that. Like, it's craziness. You know what I mean? Some people are really, really, really forgetting everything what they believed in before this virus.
Yeah. Some of these coppers as well, they've got to understand.
Supposed virus.
Sorry. Yeah, some of these coppers, they've got to understand that their kids are going to go to school, and if they're pushing tyrannical stuff, like, I don't know what you lot were like at school, but we didn't mess about. If we had snitches, they got stitches and stuff like that. That's like, you know what kids are like. Kids are evil. They're nasty. We're nasty when we're young because we're not educated. We're walking around and we're literally finding ourselves, aren't we? But unfortunately, when we were young, we were running around with this very Hollywood-driven, news-driven, media-driven bullshit world. Yeah. So it was very hard for us to find our way and navigate on our own. Do you know what I mean? With all of us educated people now, we need to be educating the world. We need to be listening to people like Dub FX and Mr. Traumatic and getting that sort of music down us so that we can actually like heighten our senses.
Absolutely love Traumatic. Been listening to.
Do you know what I mean? Heighten your senses, heighten your abilities. Do you know what I mean?
Correct. Well said. Well said. Go for it, my darling.
What the police are doing at the moment, it's so more clearer than I've ever seen anything more clearer than day in my life ever. It's so and truly 100% utterly backwards. Like, what they're doing is so backwards. Like, even they can see it. Even they've got to see it. Surely they've got to see along the lines and see and read along the lines. It's so backwards. Effectively, they're affecting their children and their families' futures as well. It's like, I mean, how more backwards is that in itself? I mean, how more backwards is it that the public servants, you know, like John said, he knows a lot about common law and they should be protecting and serving us, and what they're not. It's like everything about it. So all of it is so goddamn backwards. It's so frustrating, and people are going to start rebelling, and there's going to be a rebellion, and people are going to start hurting feds, and feds are going to start whacking and smacking and grabbing people, and
yeah, but CP, you say that
someone get hurt. You know,
you say that, and
that's
kind of my angle on this, though. Yeah, not to do that. Now, I'm one to jump into the fight straight away. Yeah, but that'd be the wrong thing to do. Yeah, we've got to educate these police. Yeah.
Obviously,
I'm not. This is why I'm saying people. This is why I would want it. Like, I heard of a thing going down in London, and I joined it instantly with a load of yellow jackets surrounding the outside. Do you know what I mean? And I was thinking, that's great, but hopefully these yellow jackets that surround the outside and make sure that the police don't try anything stupid and that. They need to know a little bit of common law. You know what I mean? Otherwise, or they need to be empowered and know how to talk some lingo to them and push the rights. They need to know the rights in that circle. Do you know what I mean? But we don't need to be smacking and punching and kicking out at coppers, mate. That's the wrong. I understand what you're saying though, but you're going to get that. But you're going to get that by the idiots that are just coming along in the crowd that are just like, oh, we'll follow the crowd.
I'm not saying I want to do that. I'm not saying that's my intentions. I'm not instigating that, but it's going to happen, and that will happen. That's the inevitable. Because
my aim is to get people to do it legally, though. And you could, the citizens arrest a copper and get a constable to come and do it. John, but
majority of the time, most of the time, even when we turn around, and even when I've seen you do it, where you've had the police in a corner in a situation where you've let them know the laws, etc., and blah blah blah. Sometimes, a majority of the time, most of the time, regardless if it's blatantly blunt in their face, they're not bothered. They genuinely don't care. They're not bothered. So it's frustrating in that sense. All I'm seeing is the police attacking people. When I was in Market Square, that's Nottingham. When I was in Trafalgar Square the other month, I seen the police come through like military with their armor gear and whatnot, and I seen them knock a 60-year-old bloke to the floor. They was going militant, and I thought to myself, go on.
No, and you know me, Pete. You know straight away. Bam! You want to jump in. You want to alert. You want to be active. You want to. But what I'm saying is, when we have got the people who I want to gain together, who know a certain aspect about law themselves, that they're not going to do nothing stupid, then they know that they can citizens arrest another police officer, because a police officer is literally looking after the corporation. A policeman is the person who will look after the people. So you can citizens arrest a police officer and get a policeman to assist you to do it. And you can do it good without putting punches and kicks in and smacks, and you can do it better than they do. We don't want to be pushing forward brutality in our future. If we've got a police force of our own, or a peace force, say, that's the better one, what we would bring forward, we won't be doing that shit, mate. We won't be doing that. We won't be battering people, and there won't be videos of police brutality. You know what I mean?
Police brutality is getting worse, and it will get worse.
I know.
And worse.
And this is what I see in London, and I get like you. I want to jump out and just start smacking them. I do, mate. And I was there front line, mate. I wanted to just start roundhouse kicking people, but we've got to club together now. There's a lot more of us woke here, so we're better as numbers. We're bigger as just be a presence on the street.
I don't feel like.
Sorry, go on, Pete's going to say something. Go on, darling.
I don't feel that way in a sense where I want to do that. But what I'm trying to say, speak on the.
I know.
But it's all right. I know where we're going with this in that. But I want to speak on the overall and the behalf of other people as well, because I haven't been violently attacked yet. But I know that people are starting to feel now. In the next couple of weeks, in the next couple of months, people are going to start really wanting to get, bang, bang, bang sort of thing in that sense. And, at the moment, I genuinely can say the public are doing really, really, really well. And some of the people have been attacked and ferociously hurt. I don't know you, but if you have, I'm proud of you, because a lot of you, and I'm seeing a lot of general the public, they're not lashing out. And I've been Liverpool 3 times, been Manchester once, London a couple of times. I've been bloody hell. Where else we've been with Rob and them lot and these lot, and Birmingham a couple of times, and we've seen it, and we've seen the general public not attack and not do anything back. So the general public should really and truly be proud of themselves, because at the moment the police are showing their true colours. They're showing how angry and how evil and demonic they are and coming across. Because the public at the moment, they're just taking everything on board and getting smacked and hurt and grabbed and all sorts. And the people, the 99%, I love that song, have not attacked or do anything back as yet. But going back to what John is saying and what he's trying to articulate to me, there's a lot of anger and frustration and around people where it's going to get like that. And like
let me give you my opinion on that.
We've got to learn.
Yes. So let me just give my opinion 1 second. But basically, what we're finding is there's no consistency with the police. Now, we've been engaging with the police in a peaceful way. The police have even said, contact us to, try to facilitate, make your things easier for you. And we've had police turn around and give us time restrictions when we're only allowed 2 minutes to speak. Then we've had police stay completely away, like in the last time when we went out. And then sometimes police are really being aggressive there's 30 of them circling a small group of 15 of us or 10 of us, and there's really intimidating us. But the point Peter and John are trying to get across is that we're peaceful and we're explaining things to police, but whether they choose to listen to it or not, that's up to them. What I think we're in is a lawless society. What the law is, they want to do what they want to do. But the biggest thing that they're bringing across now is that when they go ahead with their Agenda 21 and the Great Reset, when they turn off the power to the homes in the winter, when the kids are freezing, when there's no lights, when there's no power, then we will know that that's coming and we're awake to it and we'll be prepared. But the people who are completely denying what we're saying will be deer in the headlights, and they'll be the ones rioting and fighting the police. And they won't want to learn at that time. They'll just be trying to do what they did in the first lockdown, is buy toilet paper and buy essentials and rob houses. But this is what we're trying to use the time now to wake people up and say, look, this is coming. Be ready, be patient, and try to do it in a way which we can all work together and get it resolved. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, well said. Well said.
Yeah.
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 I like the
At
thing
the
on the
moment.
Great Reset, mate. Well done.
Yeah, Great Reset. Yeah, definitely. We have plenty of things to talk
It's
about.
all about the Great Reset.
Yeah.
That's something else. That's definitely something else I want to get into. But if it's all right, we've been going for about 40 minutes, and I do have a little 4-minute video I want to play from a public speaker in Nottingham. And this is probably something that you're all au fait with.
This is Terry Cullendine, so he's done quite a few speeches. Shout out to Terry.
Perfect. So yeah, without further ado, my lovelies, I'm just going to share the screen and we will play this. If you could just all mute up for me while I play this, then there won't be any feedback. All right, darlings? Okie dokie. Share audios. Here we go.
Just a quick question. Where do you mute up from? I can't see it on the screen.
No worries. I can do that for you.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
No worries. Ready. There we go. Cool.
Next having any rallies around the area. So it's Make a Stance Nottingham, a Facebook group. Oh, join it now, folks, so you don't forget it.
Yeah. I've just joined in on this.
Right. What we have to do
more
is,
people
I'm
here
sure
today,
you're
at
all
least
aware,
200 now, but we need
is
more.
wake up the comatose public out there that are completely aware of what is happening. Now, we've got several groups of people out there. Some people just do not know, because all they do is listen to the slime stream media that give them nothing but propaganda. We've got the other type that do want to know, and you can tell after speaking to people for a short period of time whether they're interested or not. You just give them a few basic facts of what all the doctors around the world and scientists are actually saying about this, that we're all being played, but that they are being censored, as most of you, I'm sure you know. So you've got there are two types there. Then we've got the other type that just simply couldn't care less. And no matter what you say to them, they will not listen. So don't waste any more than just a few minutes from people who are not interested. But speak to the people that do want to know. And give them facts, give them links that they can look things up themselves. But we are really in serious situation here where this is what is happening, not just here but around the world, is a total takedown. It's a total takedown of society. And their goal is, I mean, I'm sure most of you have seen the Davos new reset. What that reset is really about is completely crashing the economy. And you can see them actually doing that now. They're bankrupting everywhere. They're bankrupting businesses, households, because they want you dependent on the state. If you're dependent on state handouts, then they've got you. No needle, no benefits. And that's what is happening all over the world, not just here. But, you know, like I say, our main agenda really is waking up the people, because they can only keep getting away with this while so many people are asleep. If there's enough people, when we redress the scales to get people aware of what is happening, and that people actually out demanding action on the streets, then they can no longer win.
There's the people here, Vicky. They've got kids here today, so you can bring your kids down.
We don't have the power, we do. We have the power with people and knowledge. Knowledge is power. So you've got to, if you're aware of what's happening, you have to give that knowledge to the people that are willing to listen. Because, like I say, if there's enough people knows what's happening, They can no longer get away with this. We break the chains then. Okay, folks, thank you. We're going to have a walk around Nottingham. And if the police...
Just 1 second, people.
Don't cry. Just ignore it. What you're doing is...
How you doing? Nice to see you. Right. What the kids do, yeah, well done. Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? Yeah. I've got 4 at home. I'm lucky my missus is looking after it. So, yeah. Yes, people of Nottingham start to turn up.
So amazing footage there from Nottingham. Thank you, Riz, for sending that over to me. I'm just going to bring you all off on mute now.
You're welcome.
That was amazing to see. So many people gathered, the police not going on heavy-handed, the man being able to speak what he needed to speak. I'm hoping that you all enjoyed that in the chat room as much as I did. I'll tell you, I was literally like beaming from ear to ear when we saw that today. It's almost like the protests are taking small wins where they can. We were just filming in Essex over the weekend. One of the first times that we ever saw a protest march going through like a private housing estate right next to the house. And for the first time, we saw protesters running through a police line. They you know, they clearly realised they were.
I was watching that with Louise Hampton,
Yeah. They all ran through the police line. Not aggressively, may I mention. They weren't running through the police line fists up and that. They just defied the police line.
They slipped down the side of them and just.
Who are the police to be lining up in front of them?
They actually
Who are they? Like that, like
property as well. They went on people's private residential properties to form that line. They went up driveways, right beside people's cars. You had people at their windows like that going.
Yeah, it was shocking.
Well, it's like that guy who just did the speech on that video, Terry Callahan. He was doing a speech at Derby Hospital, and the police, even though, as Pete said, the police were pretty much okay on that day. I'm sorry, I'm against all what the police stand for now. So there's a bit of lacking tolerance in my voice with them now. But
go ahead, don't worry. Don't worry.
Yeah, but they still are trying to push bullshit, and like they can't even on the spot. Like the lady that came up to Terry and said that this hospital is not public land. Now, just to all you guys on here, every one of you, is a hospital public land or private land?
If it's publicly accessible, it's public land.
Right. Is it so? Here's one. You all know that, yeah? Yeah. So therefore, how does a police officer not know that? Yeah. And if she didn't know that, hasn't she got this tool on her coat here that can radio through? Excuse me, can I just get the land registry for Derby Hospital, please, and just let me know whether it's publicly or privately owned? Yeah. How long did that take? Yeah, it took a couple of seconds. But the thing is she didn't think of that on the spot. So therefore, if you was to be watching her on video and you were to be assessing her as a police officer, she's just got a cross in that box. Yeah, she can't use all of the tools that she's got on her belt to deal with a situation. Now, no offense to that lady, because she was actually one of the better police officers that we've actually dealt with. Yeah, but why should I be able to overlook something and say I could do that job better than you? And I know more about dealing with people in a scenario than you do. Why is that? You know what I mean? And these are the people that are enforcing tyrannical agendas that we know, all of us lot, because we always ask the question why and get to the bottom of it. Yeah. So we was always the ones in school. I bet you every single one of you on this screen now, your teacher used to get annoyed with you by saying why all the time. Yeah. And if they didn't give you a good enough answer, you didn't just stop there neither. You went and you found it. Yeah. So us people were frowned upon, yet we were the people who actually pulled most of the answers out for you lot to have written in your history books and your textbooks. Because if it weren't for inquisitive people like us, you wouldn't have great minds. You wouldn't have ever have had any of the technology that you've got now. Do you know what I mean?
Well said.
So
this is called the John Show, isn't it?
Yeah, well,
yeah.
Mate, if people want to chime in, but
No,
like
no,
I
I'm
say,
joking.
like I'm seeing people's frustrated. I'm seeing people's frustration though. People who I like as well. Like I was going to say to you earlier, Pete. Yeah, I seen Richard. Is it Richard Short? I seen his video earlier, and I know that he's getting fed up. Like the lockdowns over Christmas, and it's time to basically go to war. Yeah. Now I understand his mentality. I really do. Yeah. But then I had another person message me like, I don't think he really should have said that. Like, do you know what I mean? But it is justified to say that. He's well within his rights to say that. Yeah. But I get what the other person's saying as well. We don't need to be indicting that sort of behavior. We don't need to stoop to their level. If you're looking at it, I don't know, all of us lot will know this terminology, but we don't need to go to the whole reptilian side of the mind to battle them. We can stay on our side of it. Do you know what I mean?
Correct. I'm just saying this in the background just while we're talking, just so people
no, that's fine.
What was going on. It's on mute just now, so no one can hear the audio from it. But I just wanted the optics there just so people can get a general feel, because a lot of people are being censored at the moment, guys, and they're not aware of a lot of things that are going on the streets of the UK. I myself was stopped amongst 4 other people on Saturday night, and the police officer live on my channel tried to lie at me and tell we. And he said, there's no protest going on anywhere in the UK. Who's told you that?
Oh, don't.
And I was like, sorry, say that again. He went, there is no protest. And he actually argued the point with me. And all he was willing to admit was that there was a couple of big ones in London, but no, there's nothing. And I was like, do you realise I've been filming it for the last 6 months? And he went, oh, really? I didn't. And then he tried to style it. And I was like, how many people are you going around telling them there's nothing to see here? Like the audacity of the officer to go, there are no protests. Who's told you that? I thought, you reckon Mavis down the road told me, and I've just believed her.
Yeah, but do you know what? That was probably his knowledge on the matter.
Correct. And that's where the systemic BS is coming from.
Yeah, well, I've got a couple of videos now that show it shows an inspector in Nottingham telling me on a video. Yeah, so I've got this on video. He told me that he's going to talk to. He said he'd debrief all of his officers at the end of that shift about what I was speaking to him about you police are protecting a tyrannical government. There's people like Michael Albanese who's served all the 670 odd MPs. There's people like Dolores Carhill who are speaking out about the matter. Do you know what I mean? Her credentials are as long as the Star Wars credits. Do you know what I mean? And people are turning around and disputing what this lady has got to say about viruses and the scandemic. Do you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, this is when you bring a lot of this information to a police officer, the same as when you say to them, oh, do you know about common law? They look at you and they're like, do you know what, mate? I go home and I put my feet up and I watch EastEnders. I look after my kids and then I go to bed. Yeah. And unfortunately, that's the rat race, guys. Once you're in it, it's very hard to have time to do anything else when you want that perfect Disney world of family. And I'm not saying that it's not that's just Disney. Yeah, everyone wants family, kids, and a future. Obviously, that's the creation of that's life for us. We have to exist. Yeah, but it's not been painted in the way not by the way it's been painted in Hollywood. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I think we can all agree on that. Peter, Tom, Riz, I don't know if you want to chime in at this point. I'm going to yield the floor to you all because I know that you've all got a lot to say. Before we finish off on this though, if it's all right, if I change gears and put a different video on, because I do want to talk about the police brutality in the other video as well, Riz, because this is something that, even though we are elevating people tonight and we are making people feel positive, we need to talk about the wrongs that are going on so that people can be informed and understand why this is wrong.
Yeah, good.
that they can do something about. We clearly know what the problem is. I think what's the case now is the community coming together to talk about solutions, which John, Peter, Riz, Tom, yourselves, you all seem to have a lot of. So I'm just going to stop sharing that. But while I'm doing this, is that if there's anything else that you all want to add to what John's just said, please go ahead now while I line up this video.
Well, just a couple of things I'd mentioned.
Yeah, so in terms of what...
go on, Pete. Go ahead, Pete.
No, it's all right, mate. I'll wait for you. It's cool.
No, you haven't spoken that much, so I'll let you go first. Go on.
All right, then. Okay, so in terms of us talking about the police, it's a big issue. It's massive. It's a massive hurdle. I mean, I know we're going over it and we're talking about it again, but it's really important. It's so extremely, massively important of how to deal and how to handle and how to conduct yourself with the police. I've got to go back to saying again, it doesn't matter what legislations and laws and statutory and acts and guidelines and so on and so forth, what's in place at the moment, because from where I'm sitting, they don't care. They're not bothered. They're just literally doing as and when they please, and they're doing what they want to. They're basically, that's what's basically mapping out in front of our eyes. That's what's basically happening right in front of our eyes. So, I mean, in terms of, like I say, rules and etc. and guidelines and laws and legislations, it doesn't matter. They're just doing what they want. That's it. That's the bottom line. That's all I've got to say.
Yeah, what I can add to that is that basically, if you want to see a pure example of Pete's opinion being corrected, is that lady, 78-year-old lady in London, down your neck of the woods, where basically, even after an MP said, "Don't you have mothers?" and basically they just said it's COVID regulations, completely robotic, completely not using the human senses that they've been given, just following guidelines and rules, and they've took a 78-year-old pensioner into the back of a van. Now that's complete loss of humanity, in my opinion. If you are a man and you're putting a 78-year-old woman who's protesting into the back of a police van for expressing her freedom of speech and trying to restore some of our freedoms, I think that policing in the UK has completely gone wrong.
Yeah, there's no difference between the old lady though and that hench bloke who fought off 6 of them and then ended up going to the floor. There's no difference. It's brutality, isn't it? I know it spurs people on a little bit more when they see it done to an old lady and that.
Yeah, well, it happened to Tom as well. So Tom, you'll see that in the next video. But yeah.
Go for it, my
Well, why don't you talk about your situation, Tom, with the police?
You're showing the video, aren't you?
In Derby the other week. Why don't we go over that?
Yeah. Before we go over that, let me just explain a couple of the.
On here yet.
Yeah. I thought you were showing the video.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do now, my darling. I'm going to do.
Let me just explain. Sorry, let me just explain a couple of key events that have happened to Tom throughout the period, so you can get a picture of what's happened, because obviously we haven't got all the videos online.
Yes.
The first one was where basically we protest on a regular basis in town when we're allowed to, and basically a girl threw a milkshake over Tom's head. Is that right? A milkshake, Tom?
No,
or was
Pepsi.
Pepsi. Sorry, yeah, Pepsi over Tom's head, and he did nothing. And then there's another girl who's just heckling all day long, trying to get us to do something, but we ignored her. And in the end, she called the police and said she was, assaulted, blah blah blah. But Tom was released without charge, without any problems. It was just more like a plant in the system. They put him there to cause us a problem. So that was his first problem with the law. And then basically he went to Derby Hospital.
How many police turned up, Riz?
To town. Oh yeah, I did have the video, but I took it down. But there was 10 police cars, so 9 police cars, 1 police van, 20 police officers, 2 sergeants or constables, the top of them. And they said, and we heard there's disorder going on in the town. I go, there's no disorder coming on. And they used that opportunity with 10 police cars on the Market Square as a photo opportunity for the Nottingham Evening Post. So it was nothing to do with the fact that we was peacefully there. They just simply did it so that they could have a photo to show that, police attend a disruption in Market Square. There's no disorder, and we was all peaceful. There's apart from one person made up a false allegation, which was so 20 police officers. But then Tom went to QMC, and then he had, you know, this local hospital to make the doctors aware to try to come join us on our side. And then he had security assault him there. And then he went to Derby Hospital to await the doctors there, and the security assaulted him there. So I'll let Tom do the rest of the speaking, but I just wanted to make you aware that he's had a lot of negative stuff from, and he's been fighting for our rights. So yeah, he's done well. Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, so good.
All good in the hood. Yeah.
Happy days.
Yeah.
So as Riz was saying, I was in the QMC in Nottingham hospital, and then I was basically standing there up for my rights, and then my right to protest peacefully. But and then they just the security there just came and just basically ripped it up and threw it away in the bin. And then he just literally grabbed hold of me around the scruff of the neck and shook me up.
Tom, if it's okay with you, I'm going to share the screen and I'm going to play the video, and we'll go for that right now, if that's all right with you, my darling.
Of course.
Share the screen. We've got it on full, so we should have it there for you all now. Can you see the screen, everyone?
Oh, that was Derby Royal, that one was.
Yeah. Is everyone all right to mute up? If you're not on mute, just mute yourselves up while I play this, my darlings.
I'll be back with it.
That's what I said to you.
I'll be back with it.
It's going to shut that down. Get all or away. Look, get out early and Derby. I bet they're all looking out these windows and everything. They had someone else starting them earlier. I stuck up for them. Someone had to go in for not. Someone had to go in for not wearing a mask. God knows. I wonder who the police are going to start for. I got it on video.
If she comes with this, it'll go bad.
Oh, I did say to her over there.
As long as she's warm. Yeah.
I'm very relaxed. You're the one that's holding me. I'm not a bad person. You're the one that wouldn't know me. You're the one that wouldn't know me. It's these two folks here that's doing this. You realise I'm something you're up there. I'm not fucking listening. You're on my wrist. Of course you can't listen to somebody. So, take your hands off him. Take his hands off him, you bug. Somebody take him off. Film him. Film what's happening here.
Great.
Oh my God, it's near. You can't do that.
So
that stuff's hard to watch.
I'm not going to joke with you. I probably should have made a little bit of a disclaimer before playing that video. However,
did you get the video before how he got me down to the floor?
I haven't. I don't have that video, unfortunately. Sorry, Riz, you off mute, so darling. Sorry, go on.
Sorry, I sent you that video, Roxanne.
You do?
Today. So, yeah, I'll just check on your. But I did send it you. It's the one before, the one I sent.
The one of how he got me down to the floor was the
yeah.
That's a very
So there's a woman's arm on the picture on the thumbnail. So the start of the video shows a woman's arm. Yeah.
No worries, no worries. If you want to discourse about that just now while I line up that video, I'm literally, it's very, very rarely, guys. I'm not going to joke here. Very rarely am I speechless. But Tom, I'm not sure how I would have dealt with that if had like we were because we were going back and forth, and it was like there was a lot of oh my gosh coming from us, and there was a lot of us holding each other's arms like this, going, the world's gone mad.
I would have been
Tom, the world's gone mad.
Do you know what though, Tom? Yeah, well done for showing your restraint in a way, yeah, because this is what I was just explaining to my friend who I'm here with as well. You in that situation, yeah, they're coming and doing that to you. My mentality, my old mentality, let's say, yeah, would have been to smack the shit out of the pair of them, yeah, and be out of there, yeah. But when people are doing what Tom and what Terry's doing, it isn't no quick getaway thing when you've got a speaker or a PA unit, you know what I mean, and you're there doing such a good thing for people, yeah. And then if he would have used any force to get away from that guy, he would have been done. In charge, there would have been charges able to be put against him. Look how wrong that is. Look how wrong that is.
Tom,
like this system needs to change.
Tom, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Did you? I don't want to say the word. I'm going to spell it. Did you say RAPE in that video?
No.
Get off me! Get off me! Is RAPE? You kept saying that word.
No.
What was the word you was using to get him off you? You was using a word.
Help! Help!
Yeah, it was help.
Oh,
it was help.
I thought you were saying thingy. What I just said then.
No.
Bloody hell! What's that?
Do you know what? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The first time I seen it, I thought that too. I thought, what's he shouting here? What's that?
I thought you was trying to, shout something quite obscene and.
But if I'm honest, they are raping his rights. So you should have got that anyway.
Yeah.
So
I was just trying to shock people around me. Just put me.
You did the right thing.
But the thing is, one thing I can say on the matter is, I mean, if I had laid into them as such, used violence, brute force, or whatever else, there would be no returning back to that hospital, would there?
No. You did the right thing. I'm not saying you didn't.
Right.
I've got the video. I'm going to play it. It's a really short video, about 35 seconds, right, Riz? It's a short video, but you see how
short video, but it shows the initial assault by the security guards on them.
Yeah, I'll just play it right now, my darlings. Bear with me a sec.
You committed common assault, so ring the police. This is a scene. Somebody move.
They're grabbing Tom there. Yeah. So what you saw in that video was the. Sorry, am I on mute? Or can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. So I'll explain what you saw, and then Tom can tell you what happened. Basically, the security guards got Tom first, and then also got Terry. Now, Tom was. Yeah. Can you hear me? Shall I carry on? Yeah. So the security guards got Tom, and then basically they all got Terry. Now the 20 stone, 30 stone guy. I mean, even I would have been terrified of the guy that got Tom. And Tom's a lot smaller than me and that security guard, and it's very intimidating to have that much weight pushed on you because you can't push back. Even if you know jiu-jitsu, sometimes you just can't do nothing. And basically, the other guy, Terry, would manage to get the security guard who tried to throw Terry onto the floor. Terry managed to reverse him in the process and drop the security guard on the floor. And so luckily he wasn't injured, but the security guard then was crying like a baby. So yeah, Tom, go ahead and let him know what happened in your opinion.
What do you mean?
How you felt, what happened, because you was there, you saw it. It's just I was giving my opinions as a
yes,
viewer.
The police came, and then they arrested me. When I was on the floor, the security guard had me pinned down on the floor, and then he just came and put the cuffs on me and then put me in the back of the police car, and I was like, "What are you doing? It's the same guys you want. They assaulted me." And it's like, no, they said, "You're assaulting people." I was like, "I was not. You can see how peaceful I am." You know what I mean? They assaulted me. They assaulted me. You know,
Whoa.
and then they just put me in the back of the police car, and I was sat there for like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever.
Yeah.
Do you know the second time? Do you know the second time we went to the Derby hospital? Yeah, it was a little bit different. I don't know if you guys, I don't know, Riz, did you send them over the video of the second time we went to Derby?
No, I haven't, but Pete, you can send it.
Pete, actually, sorry, not Riz.
Yeah, yeah.
The other day, we went there.
Yeah, if you send them that video
so
across,
we went
because
to
you will
Derby
see.
Hospital, the same place. Right, so.
Go on, Pete.
Go on.
No, go on, sorry, go on, mate.
So, I think what it is, Peter, there's just a little bit of a lag. So if you bear that in mind when we're just talking, I promise you, no one's talking over you. There's just a little bit of a lag, Peter. I think that's why there's a little bit of a crossover. But as long as we bear that in mind when Peter's talking, we'll be all right moving forward. Yield the floor, Peter. Go ahead, my darling.
Yeah. Right. So Tom and Terry go to hospitals. They went to Queen's Medical a couple of weeks ago. The security grabbed Tom and grabbed Terry. Nothing really heavy big happened at Queen's Medical Centre at Nottingham. It was a bit of a situation. The video went online. It got thousands and thousands of views. Then Tom and Terry went to the Derby Hospital last week, and that incident with that video you just saw there, that was more of a ferocious attack from the security and the police came and so on and so forth. Even the members of the public was doing videos and laughing at Tom and Terry. And so Rizza and Tom sent a message to me, John, Rob, Shane, and another friend of ours. So the couple of days, what's just gone, a couple of days ago, all of us, 5 of us, went up to Derby Hospital. Tom couldn't go that day. And we all backed up Terry a couple of days ago. We went up to Derby. We all backed him up, didn't we? Right? And the security came out hospital, seen Terry with his PA speaking his microphone again. We all come from like sitting on the bench and standing around corner with our phones out, doing live streams. As soon as the security came over, their arse fell out, if in them terms and them words. Because what they wasn't prepared for this time is Terry had backup. And there was 5 of us this time, and we ambushed.
They asked him for that in a sense. Yeah, they asked him for that as in, there was backup with him. But they did definitely sense a presence as soon as the security came out, and there's 4 or 5 people going to walk over to the security and say, "Look, what are you actually going to achieve here?" And then when every time there was about 3 different police cars that turned up, and every time a police car turned up on the scene, I literally, as they were getting out of the car, I went up to the side of the police car and I started saying, "Right, guys, can I just ask you a few questions first before you go over and disperse this guy?" Them masks, it's 0.8 microns for the whole of the mask, and it's 0.3 for the virus. So the virus is going straight through it. It says on the side of the box that they don't work, and the scientist who made them has told you that they don't work. The scientist who made the PCR test has told you that don't work. And there's a thing called the Great Barrington Declaration, and that's been completely ignored. Yeah. Now, answer me one question: is this guy doing wrong by publicly speaking? And they couldn't, because I'd gone and done that to them on the scene when they had just first entered the scene of the crime. That is what makes a difference. And that's what we need to be doing.
Yeah, and they definitely don't like answering questions. Anyone of authority don't like answering basic questions. Even when you see it on telly, the other day, it was on talk radio, actually. And the woman was talking to someone from the government. She's going, well, this is on the NHS website and this is on the government website. And he's dismissing it, going, well, I don't know what information you're talking about. He's completely dismissing just basic information on the government and NHS websites. And we're seeing that all over the field in every situation. Police officers, they don't want to answer basic questions about coronavirus and cold and flu, being the same family, loads of things that they won't answer. And they're just there to do their job. We've caught them on camera numerous times this weekend saying, I'm just here to do my job, mate. I said, that's what the Nazis done.
That's not good enough.
No, it's not good enough. It's definitely not good enough.
Tell that to your grandkid when it can't get out of its door, or go down in the lift to the bottom of the apartments because its chip won't allow it to get out the door. Yeah, because its phone's on red because it don't want to comply to having a vaccination. So, because this is what's coming in the future. I don't know if you lot see this, who were asleep. That's what's coming. You ain't going to have keys on your doors no more. You're going to have a little app, yeah, and it's going to be a little screen, and it's going to be an automated lock. And if your phone's on red, you ain't even getting out your ass.
I think that was what was going on in Hong Kong this time last year. There was an incredible amount of people that were down to the social credit system. They were prevented from actually just traveling a few thousand miles on a landline train to see.
How many people do you know you've spoke to know about that though?
Do you know what? Even when I was reporting on it at the time, John, a fraction of people didn't know. And do you know what was worse? What was worse was cognitive dissonance prevented them from accepting source material, facts and figures that were being shown.
I've shown people the videos of the Wuhan schools and what they're putting them kids through, and they're putting headbands on them that's making their ears sit like this. Yeah. And the kids are saying that it's giving them headaches, and the behavior is being tracked. So every time your kid loses concentration, you get a text. Yeah. Well, I'm not being funny. That's wrong. Yeah.
Well,
putting all of them and people who are still
think of something and then it turns up on the adverts on your phone. I'm sick and tired of seeing my phone read my thoughts.
Yeah, and
I've thought about something and then a little advert or a suggestion pops up. Still, you know the adverts that are on YouTube, the ones that you skip through. How do they do that? How do they pop an advert on there and you know that you were thinking about that 20 minutes ago? It might be something random, but
not random.
Up.
Artificial algorithm.
People get paid to do it. People get paid to listen in on things and algorithms, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
Keywords.
Yeah. Your phone basically.
You know what it feels like? You know what it feels like, guys? Yeah. It feels like we're in a domestic control. It feels like we're in a
getting grappled a little bit. Go on, darling. Go for it.
Controlled domestic one at that. Right. It feels like we're in a domestic controlled relationship in terms of what you can wear, what you can do. Yeah, it genuinely feels like we're in a domestic relationship, a controlled one. Genuinely feels like, what can I wear today? Am I allowed to wear my shoes and my high heels and my dress? Do you know what I mean? Like, seriously, it's a psychological, mentally, it's an attack on your mind in all avenues and all angles. This is why people, I think, are more suffering with mental health more than they ever have done. We're on an all-time rise, aren't we? I mean, 1 in 3 people are saying, they're saying 1 in 3 people are now suffering with mental health. I've known.
Can I just say something on mental health? Can I just say it? Gotta say this. Do you know, while you're on the topic of mental health, mate, I've got to say this, yeah? People who are waking up and who are popping their head up, all of these sheep, yeah? Listen to us, what we've been telling you about mental health for all of this time, yeah? Your mental health is only ever dependent upon yourself, yeah? Your own mental state is dependent upon yourself. Empower yourself, yeah? Empower yourself. It doesn't matter. I've seen people with half of a body have more confidence and charisma than somebody who I went to school with who's got everything going for him. What's that shit about? Like, I'm not being funny. Like, every day I wake up, I look in the sky and I think, wow, that's beautiful. I turn my tap on and I think, wow, I've got running water out my tap, even though it's full of you know what, but we won't go there for now. But I think, wow, I've got running water, I've got electric, I've got all of these things. How, like, yeah, fair enough, the systems might all be shit and we pay far too much for them, but there's a gratitude level that you must have in life, yeah, and even down to like people with disabilities, they've got devices and things around them. Like my mum's got COPD, yeah, she used to love going out to the shops. She can't go out to the shops no more, but like these devices, although yeah, we hate them to such an extent, they're brilliant for people like that who can still browse on the shops and get things sent to the door. But do you know what I mean? We need to club together now and look at free energy and good at it. Do you know what I mean? We've got all this technology around us. It's just hidden, the same as like cannabis cures cancer. Do you know what I mean? And definitely seizures, and it's just being suppressed. We're suppressed on every level. Now we need to collectively come together in every area, in science, in mathematics, in politics, in police, in everything. We need to get together now and create the great future that we can have. We've got the AI to assist us, even though we know that, I mean, I don't know what all your guys' views is upon this, but years back, telephone lines, you used to know not to buy a house near a telephone line. Now, everything's wireless, and people think all of this wireless 5G shit's a load of bullshit. Well, I can prove to you that it's not by one simple thing, and this is what I like to do. I like to take everything to its simplified form. So your laptop, yeah? If you have a wireless laptop, wireless mouse in your laptop, and you put the receiver in the USB part of your laptop, yeah? That receiver, if you cover it with your hands and wiggle the mouse, it still moves, doesn't it? Because the signal's gone straight through your hand, your skin, your bone, your matter. It's gone through all of that. You put a big piece of lead around it and it will not move that mouse on the screen. So this just goes to show, yeah, that alone proves that signals go through your body, yeah? And there is no device or no science that's told us that any of this is safe.
I couldn't have said that any better myself, John. And not only that, the chat room is massively resonating with what's being said. Before I forget, I need to ask a question to Tom, if that's okay. We had a viewer in the chat room that's asked, are you going to pursue a case with the person with the situation that happened to you?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm trying to, but it's proven to be quite difficult because the police seem disinterested. The police don't seem interested at all.
Yeah, it's almost like stalemate. They're not allowing anyone to gain any traction doing anything, and they're trying to put people in holding positions, which is
like the QMC, the initial one. They are refusing to give over their CCTV from the CCTV footage that they've got. So all we've got to go off is what I've got. Is what's all I've got to go off.
Yeah.
Thank you for answering that, Tom, my darling. And I hope that's answered your question in the chat room. And please, as we're talking, if you have any questions for any of the panel members this evening, John, Peter, Riz, or Tom, then pop your question into the chat room, and I will be sure to get to that question as soon as possible.
I would just like to say a quick message for your audience members. As a person who watches the Really Work show, I appreciate people. You might think that no one's listening to your comments, but we've seen your comments. We appreciate the shout outs that you're giving us. So everyone from Nottingham who shouted us out, thank you very much. I saw you on there. And also your questions are very important. They help us highlight areas we might forget to bring on show unless you highlight the question to us. So please do get in contact with Roxanne and she will ask the questions to us. Yeah,
and as well, anyone else who's listening, anybody who's listening, you're in the same boat as us.
Yeah,
you're in the same boat as us. So we are all one big ass family. So love to you all, and I hope that you're all finding peace in what's going on at this point in time. And if you need somebody to speak to, I will happily give you the time of day. I know that it sometimes gets overwhelming for people. But whilst I'm working in my daily work, I can talk to you on headphones. Do you know what I mean? If anyone needs to have someone to talk to for the mental health or anything like that.
Yeah, can I just say something, please? I just want to recap a great friend of mine says a lot. It's his catchphrase. We're following, we're allowing psychopaths to dictate to us. What does that make us when we're doing what these psychopaths are telling us to do? What are we? Are we the psychopaths as well? So
we're complicit.
Yes, exactly. And a lot of folk are complying. And again, I fell out with a lot of people. I'll go back to some of us saying early on, we fell out with folk. I fell out with all my sisters, my mum, and all sorts. You know, I mean, due to my my stance, my strong stance, my beliefs of me seeing through this scamdemic, case-demic, whatever we can keep calling it, epidemic, randemic, whatever, we can keep doing that, you know what I mean, as such. But, I mean, going back to what Riz said, you know, it's great people with the comments and what they're saying, and we are seeing the comments flourish through today. I just want to give people a word of advice, and it's really important for like-minded people like ourselves who are mindful and awake. It's very important for people to network. In terms of network, we've got to use our tools and the tools we have at the moment. Social media and the internet as such is a networking tool. It's really, really important, and I can't stress it enough. So whenever you guys are at these rallies or marches at protests, whatever they want to call them, take each other's phone numbers, add each other on, whether it's WhatsApp, whether it's Telegram, whether it's on some sort of chat device as such. It's very important. Every single one of you viewers viewing this video now, it's very important for you to all network.
And let me just add this, Pete. Sorry, while you're there, sorry to interrupt. Local meet points, in case all the technology goes down. Yes. I'm telling you now, local meet points like your town halls or your sports centres or something. You've got to start preparing, guys. Not for fear, not through fear. Don't do it through that fear level. So if anyone's going, oh no, we're not going to that level. Yeah, go to that level, but don't do it with fear.
Yeah. Let me add to what John's saying as well. It's all right, brother. Going back to what John's saying as well, in terms of networking and taking the people's numbers and so forth and so on, we all are meeting mutual friends and so on and so forth all over Facebook every other day. When I see someone on posts as such just like me and having a dig at the police or having a dig at the Sun newspaper or whatever it may be, I genuinely go out of my way to send them friend requests and get to know them. And I've done that. It might come across quite pesky to some people, but I'm not that way
to all the viewers, that have little children, yeah. Let me just tell you this now. My sister has been to London all of the times with her kids, yeah. And any bit of trouble that's gone off, they have been able to be completely out of the way, yeah. And other than the 5-minute snippets that they get for the little media bullshit stories at the end of the day, yeah, because they come in at the end. Don't forget, guys. Anyone who's been to any of these, they come in when the crowd's dwindling out. They come in and make their arrests, and they have the little camera team there videoing it, just like they do for like Theresa May when she used to do a speech, and there was like 10 people around her in a field, and they'd make it look like there was like hundreds. Do you know what I mean? The bullshit. And that's what they do. Yeah, they come in and they do it at the end. So just to let you know, that it is a child-friendly place. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It is literally like you will have and you know, to all of you people who go, oh, I'm not going just in case there's any trouble. Well, how do you feel when you watch 70 and 80-year-olds that have been there handing out flyers and leaflets out of their own money, and they've been able to escape all of that trouble because they're not there for the trouble? But there is people who are there for the trouble because they're getting fed up. And if you back it, like someone said earlier, you poke a wolf too many times. My one is a dragon. I ain't no wolf. I'm a dragon. I'll fly the fuck over you and I'll burn you all. Yeah. So don't mess about with me and don't put me don't back me into a corner, because I ain't the person you want to back into a corner. Yeah. But other people, that you back them into a corner and poke them, they're going to bite. Like what was said earlier. Yeah. And it needs to stop. They need to stop playing these tactics because they surely know it. Do you know what I mean? And if not, they should watch this video and watch that people are getting to that mentality, and the people who do get sniffed up and drunk and come to these things because they're missing the old football hooligan shit, yeah, they're the ones who are going to start trouble with you and make us look like arseholes, yeah? But I'm not calling them arseholes at all, because you know what? They're in the right frame of mind to go out and want to kick the shit out of people, because it's getting to that point. So I'm not saying that none of them are wrong for doing what they've done, yeah? But I'm also saying that there's a better way of doing things.
Yeah. So going on to the point Pete was saying about networking, just a couple of things I want to let people know out there who are watching your show for the first time, or you know, finding out about COVID and things for the first time. There's a lot of things happening amongst seasoned people in the game, meaning like us and elsewhere. The biggest issue that I've come across is trust. People are finding it very hard to trust people online, in person, etc. So the best advice I can give to you is to go to your local town centre on Saturdays, wherever you may be, see people, observe them, and whoever's giving you truth, just follow and resonate with them and connect with them. And also connect with people that have got lots of videos, like Pete's got lots of videos, Tom and Terry have got lots of videos where they're actually on the street, and these people are giving knowledge every day. Now, Tom, just to give you an idea, he was in Nottingham town centre every day.
Yes, he was. Yes,
every day.
Legend.
Protesting throughout that period.
Legend.
So that shows you dedication.
Yes.
Now, when I went to the first protest after Jason came, we went to a local one. There was a police present, came with riot vans to Nottingham. It was my first protest on my own after Jason, and John was there. And he was the one being a dragon right in front of the police officer, telling him, "You're intimidating these peaceful people here." And he basically told the police officer to do one. And the police officer was really embarrassed and then went away, and they left us alone. And that's where I saw John's passion. And I thought, this guy's representing Nottingham. He's protecting the innocent people, the weak people who are afraid of the police arresting them, fining them. And he got rid of them. And after that, people saw that we can do this. We've got the same ability to do this, and that's what we need to do. So shout out to all of you guys.
Can I just break down why I have the comfortable manner to be able to do that with police officers?
Yeah.
Do you know, because do you know when I grew up in Carlton, do you know the people who I was in the classroom with?
Yeah.
They become police officers. Yeah, they become police officers.
You play football,
people like myself. I played football with about three police officers. Yeah, but I've played football because I've played football all my life. I've played football with numerous police officers. Let me tell you that, ones that have been kicked out of the force for sniffing and for doing shit in the force and abusing the power. And I know these people. Yeah, and let me tell you now, once they've put that uniform down and come out, they've got no respect. They're another person. And do you know, if they've been living in a rough area, arresting all the little ruffians around there, do you know, once he's put that uniform down and they've kicked him out and they're not paying him no more, what then?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And we've seen...
There's like...
Go on, Tom, darling.
Go on, mate.
That one point you've got there. Police normally pick on women and elderly people, and disabled, and undisabled people as well.
Perfectly said. Perfectly said. Go on, darling. Carry on with you.
Yeah, no, I'm saying it's refreshing to see a lot of passionate blokes. Or a lot of the protests I've been going to has been mainly women, and I've been saying to a lot of because I know a few people that maybe what you might class as a football hooligan or whatever. I'm going, where are you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but what do they all love, mate? You know, because you're one of the lads. What do they all love? They all love pussy, don't they? So as soon as the pussy's out there going, "You pussies, you're not going to get no pussy from us." Sorry. I know there's women and they're probably young and listening, but sorry. Yeah, they all come out then. They all come out then because they're being cussed at the minute. They're being cussed for sitting in their ass with a pipe and the slippers, being happy that they're on furlough, getting furlough pay. Yeah, nah, get out. Stop messing about now. Your women are wanting. Your women are representing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it. Well, basically, I just said to him, like, you lot have got to start feeling a bit ashamed now. You're seeing women getting bullied week in, week out, getting dragged about by police. You haven't got to come down there and kick off. You just come down there as a presence. Because at the moment, we're being flooded by big police officers, a few blokes like me and you, like it mixed in between loads of very passionate women that are really doing the men, they're doing themselves proud. But a lot of men should be thinking, why am I letting these women do all the dirty work for us?
Those women consist of mothers, grandmothers, daughters, aunties, you know, god sisters, nieces. I've been to protests and I've filmed, you know, 3-4 generations of the same family. Especially in Liverpool, there was a lot of families where there was the great grandma, the mum, the daughter, the granddaughter, and the great granddaughter.
Well, they got a mother's instinct, haven't they?
And just so we're covering all areas as well for any of the like women out there that are thinking, well, we could be frontline too. Yeah, you're right. And we ain't gonna rule none of you lot out neither. Do you know what I mean? Just for any, because I know that that's been a topic that's been brought up when I've been speaking.
Equal rights.
Exactly. So this is what we need to be showing in our channel. Moving on, mate, that we're all here for each other. You know what I mean? And I by no means would look at a 5-foot small woman on the battlefield as any less of an asset as someone else.
I want to add something to that, which is when I'm in town and I'm public information to people on COVID, I'll get the odd heckler, the odd person who wants to cause conflict, and I've had quite a few of those. But before I even get a chance to them, I have all the ladies that are in Nottingham that are normally there shouting and giving the correct information and backing me up without me even having to do anything. And so, you know, I've got lots of support from men and women, but the women, like you say, are tending to turn up, and the men who are not coming are sitting at home saying, why are you spouting all these conspiracy theories? Stop talking this rubbish. You're causing the problem. But
also it's not their fault that they've been in the rat race providing for the family. Clap to them for that, at least. They've been providing in this shithole environment. That literally everybody knows you work 40 hours a week. Your wages, I don't know if you lot are the same, but I'll break it down for you for me, because I don't give a shit. I'll tell you exactly what I earn. 1,800 a month, 1,200 goes on bills. 1,800 a month, 1,200 goes on bills. Then I have to pay £50 a week for fueling my car and fueling myself. So there's another £200 gone out of that, for the next 4 weeks. So that's that's another £200 gone out of that. So we're up to 1,400. So I've got 400. I've got £100 a week to go out. If I go out on one night out, that's £100. I drink vodka Red Bulls. They're about £7 a pop. If I'm taking a lady out or taking my missus out, we're done. You're 100 quid a night easily. So if you was to want to go out on that one night every night, you ain't got no money left. You're literally at poverty line every month. So who the hell wants to? That's why everyone knows about this rat race, and it's bullshit. We know it is. And then you've got people like Trump saying, "Oh yeah, we want to get you your income tax back." Well, we should have had that anyway. You've been scamming that off us to pay for a system that basically pays for itself. The electrical grid, how much does that need maintenance? Not a lot. Work it out. I've done the numbers of the employment on the country. I actually shocked my accountant at work by going in and showing him the numbers of the employed. There's 67 million people in England, 33 million people in 40 hours employment. That's not going on about self-employment or it's what's it called, part-time employment. So you've got 33 million people in 40 hours employment. Employed by someone else. That is on average, if you look at the average prices that I all got off Google, it comes out to £9,000 you're paying in tax on average a year per person. So do 9,000 times 33 million people, and look at the figure that comes up on your calculator. It's massive, and then take away the figures that are online for all the public sectors, for the hospitals, for the elderly, for the disabled, for the police, for the fire. And I've got policemen and firemen who I know, so I speak to them about this. And inside their corporations, they pay like £1.10 for a big pen and 50-60 pence for a toilet roll from a corporation that's linked into some politician that's got shares in it, because they can't access their own accounts and go down to Poundland and buy a 20 pack of big pens for £1. They have to spend £1.10 on each pen. Do you know what I mean? And they have to buy it from a private organisation. It's all just lining people's pockets. Do you know what I mean? And you, insurance companies, everything, it's all fraudulent and it's all dwindling the money. And people say about a recession, look at Amazon. Amazon's a big suction tube above your country, and every single person's going, oh, I like that. Boom, chucking a tenner out the window, and it's getting sucked up, shot over to another country, and then taxed at a lower rate. So it's not even getting paid taxes in these countries. In this country's not earning nothing on it. So you talk about where's your money in your country going? Well, there you go. It's being sucked out and sent over to another country.
Oh yeah,
again,
just
a lot of people in the chat room are massively resonating with what's being said. Go on, Riz.
Yeah, just a little side note. The number 33 million that he said, he's not a Freemason. He's not throwing out any esoteric numbers. Yeah. There'll be some people in the group who say he's a stage control.
No, if you look the numbers up, though, they're the numbers that come up.
Yeah,
they're the numbers.
And they'll say that John's a Freemason. He's part of them. No, we're real people. They're not Freemasons. Yeah, we're against 33, we're against all of that, and we're here for unity and stopping this corruption.
Definitely. Love, peace, and transparency is what we want.
Well said. Well said. While we're on this, if it's okay with you, I'm going to play another video. It's about a 5-minute video. It's one of the videos that you sent me, Riz, Lidl. Can you give us a bit of background about what we're about to, just so the viewers can understand, and then if we can have a discourse about this as well. Shout out to the chat room. We'll jump into the chat room after this video.
Okay, so what happened was basically a couple of the Facebook groups organised a unity meeting between Nottingham and Derby, and basically because of the new restrictions, they had to think of a way that was legal and lawful to do. So they staged a car rally. So going from Nottingham to Derby and back round again in a loop to different locations, to different town centres, to wake people up and hand out leaflets and pass out information in a way that was allowed. Now, I think the people who organised it liaised with the police, or the police ambushed us at the carpet ride in Derby. And basically they said that we're here to support you and, you know, make sure that everything goes smoothly. We're not here to cause you any problems. But that was the case most of the way through. But then towards the end, what happened, we arrived in Lidl in Sandiacre, which is the outskirts of Nottingham in Stapleford, towards that end. And basically the police officer or liaison officer or policy officer, whatever you want to call them, said, I'm trying to keep my constable or sergeant or chief off your back. He's telling me you've only got 2 minutes to talk. And Andrew Johnson, who's one of the fantastic guys, knows all of the science and has got plenty of data, just like myself. He was going to give a speech which would have lasted at least 15 to 30 minutes, but they restricted him to 2 minutes, but he kind of stretched it out slightly. But we was very offended at the fact that, you know, we only got 2 minutes. And even when I tried to talk to the officer, he was very blunt and rude with me to try to get extra time. But even so, the people who organised it were still quite happy with the police service. I wasn't, but they were. So I'm not going to knock the police, but you can judge for yourself from this one video. But there were the other videos, they allowed a 5-minute speech at Asda and stuff like that. So go ahead.
Do you know the only thing I will say for the police, for the police, on behalf of the police, if people don't know this, in every single structure, structural sin is apparent inside a pyramid. I'm sorry, I'm doing the pyramid symbol, guys, but inside a pyramid, there's a structure. We all know. I know, mate. I know. I just thought about it as I'm doing it. Anyway, so inside a pyramid, you know, there's structural sin. So that means 50% is going to be good and bad inside every single organization. Yeah. And please have that faith in it, guys, because this is where your whistleblowers have come from over the years. And this is where we've got all our great information from. Yeah. And there's only now this media is there more and more and more and more and more. It's having the momentum building. It's just like people are coming out. You know it. Yeah. And this is the year for it. And we were all born into this as indigo children or rainbow children or whatever. And we all knew that our future had this in it.
Let's go with the video then. Thanks, Roxanne. Thanks, John.
Perfectly said. No, and again, I just want to let you know, I'm going to jump in the chat room as soon as we finish this video, because John, Peter, Riz, and Tom, a lot of people in the chat room are massively resonating with all of the things that are being said. You're like a breath of fresh air in the chat room right about now.
We love you, people.
Incredibly inspired by this. And again, you're creating conversations in the chat room with what's coming out here. And there's an amazing amount of communication in the chat room. It's a really nice place to be, actually. If you're in the chat room,
keep connecting in the chat room, guys. Keep connecting, man. Just communicate, connect.
We only know what you're saying by your messages. So yeah.
Awesome. Right, darlings, mute up, sweethearts, and we'll play this.
Hi guys, we're here at San Diego Lidl, and basically we only got 5 minutes to do stuff because we've got 3 police vans and they're only allowing 5 minutes of actual protesting or speaking. So people are meeting up here and we're going to educate the public for 5 minutes. Handing out leaflets and got signs up. And all lockdowns. Andrew's here to do the factual information so we're not spreading any conspiracy theories. Andrew's here. Yeah. Yeah, Andrew, they're only giving us 5 minutes. So,
5 minutes, yeah.
So,
okay. 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Literally, I'm keeping the chief inspector off your back.
Lovely.
So,
okay.
I'll
2 minutes. But he's only just arrived, officer. If you could be kind enough to give him 5
2 minutes.
Yeah.
2 minutes.
All right.
We've got.
Okay.
All right. Then you need to disperse. Okay.
Disperse.
We've only been given a short time to speak to you. Sorry to interrupt everyone's Saturday afternoon. We're coming to talk to you about the current situation. We've got leaflets. We encourage you to go online. CV Pandemic Investigation is my website. Basically, we're unhappy about what we've been told by the government. We're a group of people that are trying to communicate this information to others. 2009, we were told we had a swine flu pandemic. I looked into that, did a lot of research at the time. I looked into it again. There was no swine flu pandemic. More people died in 2010 than in 2009, and more people died in 2008 than 2009. That's on the Office for National Statistics website. Go and check it out. So, Matthew Hancock, in 23rd of March this year in Parliament, he said that we had a terrible situation. They introduced the coronavirus bill. This coronavirus bill was 300 pages long, yet it passed through the House in a single day. Both houses of Parliament in a single day. This bill was not scrutinised. Cannot have been scrutinised. Indeed, Matthew Hancock said that this bill was in development for 3 months. He said that on the 23rd of March. 3 months behind the 23rd of March was December, which was 2 months before, over 2 months before the pandemic was declared by Tedros Adhanom of the World Health Organization. He declared a pandemic on the 11th of March, 2020. And you've got to look into him. This guy doesn't have a medical degree. He doesn't have a medical degree. He did his degree at Nottingham University, degree in community health studies. This guy was the number 2 in an organization in Ethiopia, which was classed as a terrorist organization by the US in the 1990s. He was also recommended Robert Mugabe as a goodwill ambassador to the United Nations. Robert Mugabe is wanted for human rights abuses, or he's judged for human rights abuses in Zimbabwe, in case you didn't know who he was. So we were told there was this pandemic, and in fact, the government was told by the Advisory Committee on Dangerous Pathogens, headed up by Professor Tom Evans, that coronavirus was not, COVID-19 was not high consequence infectious disease. They were told that on the 13th of March. They put a declaration on the government website on the 19th of March. So what did they do? They budgeted £216 million in April for government advertising alone on coronavirus. That's why you had all these papers with these raps about coronavirus. What about the masks? Do the masks work? Well, masks are only said to work.
Hi, Jeff. How you doing, mate?
If you are infectious. How do you know if you're wearing a mask that you're infectious? Have you had a test? What about this test? This test is called the PCR test. The polymerase chain reaction
We're
test.
in your
The
neck
guy
of the
who
woods,
invented this
San Diego
test, Gary
Lidl.
Wallace, said in 1993 that this test should not be used for diagnosing
Got
illness.
police only giving us 2 minutes.
Diagnosing illness.
Our time's up.
So why are the government using it? Why are they paying people for testing? Why are they...
Stop winding up, guys.
Okay. Why is the government paying people to get tested if this is such a deadly virus that is killing people? That contradicts what Chris Whitty said on the 11th of May 2020, when he said most people will not die from this. Only vulnerable people could possibly die. Those that had other infections. He said that in one of the government briefings on the 11th of May. So please don't live in fear. Think about wearing a mask. Look into mask studies. Look into the PCR test that everyone's been tested with. Go and visit your local cemetery. Are the dead bodies piled up? Is there really a pandemic? Or is it just a serious flu illness that went around in the winter months? Thank you very much for listening to us. Take a leaflet and learn some more stuff. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andrew.
Take care.
Cheers. All right, see you later, guys. That's the end of our rally, I think.
That guy is awesome for information.
Yeah.
He is awful. Yeah, do you know what? You need to get him and Terry on here one time as well. Him and Terry. I tell you now, that the information that's in their mind that they can just roll off the tongue. Do you know what I mean?
Am I right in saying he was getting timed there by the police?
Yeah, basically he was getting timed. So basically the police were meant to simply be there to support us and not cause any problem. You know, basically be audience members, making sure no disruption or disorder occurs. But what ended up happening was at every location they would tell us to move on whenever they felt like. So we went to Asda in Long Eaton, and basically after 10 minutes, we got 10 minutes there. We reached quite a few people, but then they said it's getting busy now, so you better move on. So we had to move on from there and then hit another location. But yeah, at the end, it came down from being freedom of speech to our chief inspector's getting itchy. So get off and get going. So what can you say?
Do you know what? Do you know the next time that sort of stuff happens? Yeah. Do you know whenever the police comes up to you, you should not address them. Yeah. Do not talk to them. Instantly give them a command. Yeah. And that command needs to be, can you please get your constable to be assisting this incident, this event that's happening now? Yeah? And if they won't, you call through and don't talk to them until you've got that constable present.
Yeah.
Because he's for you guys, whether you like to, whether he knows it or not, he's for you.
No,
yeah. And he will disperse them crowds who are giving you these time limits that are not lawful. That's not lawful.
But just to give you a bit of background, the ladies who was working with the police had a good rapport with them, and they were happy with the police service that they got. So, you know, can't knock the police if the people who were there were happy with them. So I'm not knocking them on this occasion, but what I'm saying is you're seeing our basic liberties, which are freedom of speech, being restricted with regulations now. And
do you know that all them police that were at the Derby hospital the other day, not one of them knew that all of the police in France had like threw the handcuffs down and walked with the people?
Yeah.
You lot all seen that video?
Yeah. And the firefighters who are now fighting against the police. Yeah.
What are they being restricted from on there? Do you know how we're targeted with advertisements and stuff on Facebook? Are they restricted from these videos, do you think? Do you know, nobody knows, do they? Because none of your names are on the actual police oath. So you don't know how their phones are targeted for being, they might have access to different internet sites than us on their phone.
Yeah, Google selective search engine, basically it can restrict what certain people can find,
100%, that's facts. 100%, we know that.
And Derby police have been quite good. If it was Derby police that were acting that day, Derby police have been quite good. And to be honest, the ones that I've spoken to in Nottinghamshire police, and I've been informing them about it, they haven't been saying to me, "Oh, you sound like a conspiracy theorist." They've been actually really like, "Wow." Like, and they've been, I see it in their eyes, because I studied body language and psychology when I first got the power of the internet at my hand. And I literally look at people's psychology and body language. And most of these police officers, when you're hitting them with proper knowledge, talking about stuff like the Great Barrington Declaration and these key bits of knowledge that you need to spit out there. And that just goes to show as well with law, you need to know them key words and them, because law is a book of spells. If you ever thought magic was present on this If you ever thought magic was what Hollywood protrudes magic to be, magic is linguistics and spells in your language. That's why it's called spelling.
Jimmy's shocked.
Huh?
Jimmy was shocked by your magic spells. Carry on.
Yeah, well, mate, that's what it is. The alchemy, the only true magic on this world. That's why your language has been doctored and changed, and everything's been changed through history with linguistics. Yeah, linguistics, as we know with sound and vibration, and we're starting to figure out, linguistics can actually change things and move things. Like you put sand or whatever it is, iron on lead, and it will make geometric shapes out of it. So imagine if a linguistic that we all spoken, we just had to say, right, let's pick that block up, right, block up, and it lifted. Who knows? Yeah, who knows? Do you know what I mean? We don't know our own powers. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if anyone's into young Pharaoh, the truther. He's probably one of the greatest reporters that I know and have been listening to growing up. Do you know what I mean? And growing up for the last year and a half or so, and the way he does things and the way he talks about stuff about the is it melanin and that in the skin, and it's carbon in the skin, and the way that the sun taking and all of this sun in information where you take, mate, all of this shit, all of this information is not being collected for no reason, guys. There's truth to these things. Do you know what I mean? And we need to collect together now and actually get the truth, because we know we've been lied to.
I don't think it's a
in the face, does it?
Go on, Peter. Go on.
Yeah, sorry, Jimmy. I don't think it's a coincidence we've got shitloads of fluoride in the water as well. It's not a coincidence.
I heard the other day that it's Soros that actually funds all that. I don't know how true that one was, but
you know,
and the onion peel back. Go on.
We have been dumped down for years and years and years. I mean, the way the police. The way they act and the way they counterattack members of the public, they depend on intimidation. That is the ultimate key of it all, is intimidation. If they can't intimidate you, and if you're quick and witty like John Harvey is when he puts the police on the toes, if they can't intimidate John and he's put it on them and so forth and so on.
Do you know what? Any of you lot can do that, yeah? Any of you lot can do that. You just got to be present at the time. That's all. Don't be thinking about where your next meal is coming from, or you got to get to work tomorrow. So if you spend 24 hours in a cell, it's going to be detrimental to you because your car's in a car park and it might be a 24-hour parking thing. Who cares? Just deal with it all. Or get yourself there on foot, or think about all that stuff. And that's your planning. That's your regimental planning towards it. So be a soldier. Don't sharpen your tools and your knife and your sword and bring that. Be a soldier. Get yourself there in a manner where if you was to get locked up or whatever, just for standing there, you aren't going to lose out on a load of things. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Just to change it up a bit, guys. Sorry.
Organize yourself.
Daniel Robinson has commented, I'm late to this chat. However, it has already been covered previously. I would like to hear everyone's comments on the proposed vaccine. I myself feel uncomfortable having a new vaccine injected into my system. I question its efficiency and long-term safety. I respect all points of view, and I would be interested in what the team have to say.
We yield the floor. You guys take it away.
I'll go first.
I'll go last.
Okay. So first of all, the vaccines now, there's so much information.
One sec, Riz. I just want to let everyone know, just in case on the audience side, I'm getting it on my side. Peter's getting an incredible amount of grabbling. And so on Peter's end, it probably looks like everyone's just talking over him and not regarding his point of view all the time. But what it is the gate system on the mics, because everyone's mics are louder than Peter's at the moment. When everyone talks, it overrules his gate, which means in a weird way, Peter's being censored on the show just now, which is unfortunate, but it's just a self-evident truth. So I just need everyone to be aware of that. The gate system is censoring Peter because he's trying to chime in, but the lag and the gate system's preventing him from doing so. So please
let's all on the chat try and turn our mics off when we finish speaking, yeah, guys?
If possible.
Let's see if that helps him out.
I can definitely vouch for about 15 to 20 times that Peter's tried to say something. Unfortunately, the lags prevented him from doing so. But don't worry, Peter, I've got your back. Don't worry.
You can go first, Peter.
I know that it does this. It's done this to guests in the past, Peter, and it's completely demoralised guests. And I just need to fly the flag here. And I know how that feels to be gated on the chat and feel like it's like the system's working against. It's not fair. But yeah, just to let you know, Riz, just as you said that, I could see the lag was happening to Peter again. So after you've spoken, if it's all right, if Peter can chime in.
No, I don't mind if Peter goes first.
John, is that all right, my darlings?
Yeah. So shall I go first or Peter?
All right, go Peter first, then Riz, then Tom, then John. Yeah? Fire away, my darling. We yield the floor.
Me and my kids, my 5 children, none of us in this household, none of this in this family need a vaccine. So that's the basics. In terms of vitamins and zinc, and in terms of dieting and vegetables and fruits, that's our supplements, that's our intake, that's our foods, that's what we need, that's what we're doing. Fresh air, exercise. Yeah, I mean, we don't need it, so we don't want it, because we're only going to have it to protect the vulnerable and protect others. They've already stated and said that. So, I mean, why would I have some what I don't need? Why would my kids have some what we don't need? I mean, in terms of a vaccine, I'd rather a random dog on the street teabag me than have a vaccine. I'd rather eat horse manure off the floor than have a vaccine. I mean, I can go on and on. I'd rather do all sorts of other things than have a bloody vaccine. So, I mean, I think it's obscene that people even can't see through that. I mean, come on. I mean, 99.7 somewhat whatnot survival rate, and you want to vaccinate 68 million people. It's obscene. So, I mean, why do you need to make something mandatory, or you talk about compulsory? I mean, why do you have to forcefully try and bully and intimidate and coerce people into having something? I mean, if they need it, then okay. But it's just crazy to me. It's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, my darling. Cheers. And again, there's a lot of people resonating with you in the chat. Riz, I'll just make a quick disclaimer now. I was born in 1981. My parents didn't have me vaccinated back in the 80s. They signed major disclaimers with the school throughout the 90s. So I wasn't even given my BCG or anything. I've got 2 children. One was born in 2003. One was born in 2007. Both of my children aren't vaccinated either. So I can agree with Pete on this one. Like, we're perfectly healthy. My children are perfectly healthy. And in fact, it really takes a lot for my children just to get the snivels. And my daughter's always saying, Mum, my friends are always ill. They're always either got the sniffles, hay fever, allergies, this, that, and the other. And myself, I'm fine. My children are fine. A lot of people ask me about anti-vax information. I'm like, you're looking at it. You're looking at it. I'm fine. I've actually had, at 7 years old, I had meningitis cocosepticemia. I was put in isolation in hospital for just over a week. My parents refused any drugs. They had fans on me, bringing my temperature down. I literally spent a week in isolation. I was absolutely fine. I've had chickenpox. I've had measles. Children have had chickenpox and all of that. And we're all fine. They're fine. They haven't made any of their friends ill, from as far as I can see, and they're absolutely fine. So
Can I just say to you, well done, because do you know, you mothers, you get so much pressure from the doctors, from midwives, and even at the point of where you're drugged up and you don't even know, and they're trying to take your baby to inject them, and you've just gone through a pain threshold that any man would have been knocked out to, and you're there like, no, give me that baby, and the baby ain't going out my sight. Do you know what I mean? Like, 'cause that's what my sister was like. But do you know what? Well done to all you mums that have done that and who have actually keep the kids vaccine free. I'll give you my opinion at the end. But sorry, I had to just say, well done.
Yeah, and I yield the floor. That was my little disclaimer. And I yield the floor to you now, Riz, darling.
So based on what you've just said, Roxanne, I was vaccinated as a kid because my parents didn't know any better. My family would still get vaccinated. I know my relatives and my family members still get vaccinated now, even though I've made them aware of the truth. But my children, I've got 4 kids, and all of them not now being vaccinated. My 2 daughters are not getting vaccinated at all. my sons were vaccinated initially at birth, but never after that. So I've stopped with the vaccine scheme for anyone and everyone in my family, my household. But with regards to educating the public on vaccines, now there's a couple of things that you've got to understand here. These new vaccines that are coming out in December, they're saying 9th of December for Nottingham that they're going to bring them out if they get approved by the government. Now, they have to be stored at -81 degrees. And what people are saying is that if they're stored at that temperature, they're actually not vaccines, but they're trans-infection agents, yeah? They're there to actually cause you more problems. And they're 2 doses given separately after a week or 2 weeks. And they're the first ever vaccine to have mRNA in them. So they actually modify, they go into the cell wall, and then they penetrate the nucleus and update the DNA and attach to there, and basically modify your DNA so it will be permanently changed, as opposed to just healing your body or fighting a certain virus or helping your body assist it in some way. It'll actually be changing your DNA code. And they've named these vaccines with some kind of assault warfare terms, as opposed to being general vaccine names. A few other things is that if you think you're going to have these vaccines and you're going to be okay, well, why is the government not just promoting the people who are vulnerable to have these vaccines, and then everyone else let them herd immunity? No, they want to give everyone the vaccine. In the point of a vaccine, to protect people, and then if you've got it, you don't need to worry about it anymore. But the problem is with these, they want everyone to have vaccines on a regular basis. So that's what they're going to make the future, where they will basically give vaccines to people every 6 months, every 12 months. Those that they don't kill off with the vaccine, so the elderly that they might wipe out, the vulnerable, the ones that speak out against them, they'll kill off. The rest, they'll make them, docile, so that they'll follow their orders more easily, not be able to use their thought patterns. Bill Gates has actually developed a vaccine which removes the God particle. So there's an area of your brain that basically thinks about God and gets impassioned and allows you to use your emotions. Well, Bill Gates has made a vaccine which will allow them to not think that. When you ask them about God, they'll be basically lobotomized. They won't be thinking with their passions. They'll be thinking like a robot. And that's what they're going to put in these vaccines. And yeah, I'll just stick on the vaccines for now, but with 5G, I've got all the knowledge on that, and I can give that afterwards if you've got time. But I yield the floor to the rest of the crew. But don't have the vaccines, people. They're not safe.
Cheers, my darling. Cheers, Riz. Over to you.
Yeah, sorry, one final thing.
Yeah,
the company. Now, I don't want to get myself in trouble, but the company that's making these vaccines, the mRNA vaccine, Moderna, it's the first time that they've ever been allowed to give these kind of vaccines to the people, and they've not got a good reputation. So I'm not going to call them out, but if you research, they've never had a good reputation. So find out what you want, but I could give some bad things to say, but find out yourself if you want to know the truth. Carry on, sorry.
Thank you, Riz, my darling. Yeah. Tom, over to you. What's your take on the whole vaccine situation? What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I think the guys have covered all grounds really, but then I think I'd just like to back Riz's point up with, because it's a brand new vaccine. Which one is it, Riz? Sorry, the
mRNA. Yeah.
mRNA. It's because it's never been used before. It's basically a human experimental trial, if you know what I mean. And the last time that was done was in World War II. So it's against the Nuremberg trials. This is against the Nuremberg trials. Nuremberg Code. Sorry.
Yeah, this is something that's come up a lot. Again, there's people resonating in the chat room as well.
Just a quick mention on that comment that you've got below. The sheeple will have the vaccine, but you've got to understand, this is a common question that we're getting told by people or asked, that can't let the politicians have the vaccine first, let the sheep have the vaccine first. The thing is, they're not going to give the politicians the tainted doses of vaccine. They'll just give them saline solution or something inert that's not going to cause them a problem. it's the population they want to control. They've already paid off the politicians. They don't need to control them. They've got them in their pockets. As you were, sorry.
They've already said that Boris and the royal family are last in line for the vaccine, as if you know what I mean. Whatever they want, they get. Like
they get adrenochrome priority.
You never know. That's probably the extent of it. The plot thickens. It literally it thickens. As soon as you start talking about the royals, it all starts getting sticky. Doesn't it? It does. Shout out to Debbie.
Well, do you know what? No, it don't actually. Yeah, let me just simplify this for people. Yeah, you all thought, that your royal emblems and symbols stood for something until the moment the penny dropped and you found out that the UK was actually a PLC, a government, a company. And when you found that out, you found out that it was all fraud. And when you were all kids, did you not ask yourself the same question I did? Who owns the land? Who owns the air? And who owns the water? And guess what the first letter of each of them spell? Land, air, water, law. Yeah? It's a bit funny how they keep you in this, entrapped in this system of maritime law. So you're being tried at sea, but on the land. Common law is literally, it's as simple as this. If you don't understand common law, it's do not cause loss, do not cause harm. It covers everything. It covers everything. Do not cause loss, do not cause harm. So what your queen used to stand for and all of your royal families, you know that their coat of arms and their emblems are all businesses, and you don't want to fly them flags no more. Your vessel and your ship, you need to put your own flag on it. And I guarantee by the end of the year, we're going to have shitloads of dragons rolling around with their own flags flying on their ship. Do you know what I mean?
You know, I think that like I said, I think that's pretty much where it's at. Like, there's people in the chat room saying it's already happening. The amount of chemicals in sanitary products, even hand sanitizer. Again, Heavy Metal Ruin My Life said, yes, spot on. Dime Bar says the royals are a corporation. I think Angie Davis said we are the royal family. Again, loads of people resonating with what's being said. Jack Jones said exactly.
Well, did Tom finish on his vaccine thing? Because I want to chime in on that as well.
Yeah,
that's it. Go ahead, my darling Tom. We yield the floor.
Sorry for cutting in again.
No, don't worry about it. That was my part, man. That was done.
Yeah, no worries.
I forgot what I was going to say anyway, so it's okay.
So far had kind of covered all the aspects that you were going to say, and like I said tonight, guys, you've been incredibly well versed so far, and you've given an incredible perspective on some of the topics that we've covered so far.
Let me just give my perspective on vaccines, and this one's really simple as well, because I like to keep things simplistic. If your vaccine works, then why would you be scared to be around people that are unvaccinated? You should, if you've took a vaccine, you should be able to lick a petri dish with the virus in it, and you'd be fine. Yeah. So why are you scared of another body that's enclosing that virus anyway? If he sneezes, get the fuck out of the way. Just the same as if you don't like this video, scroll the fuck on.
Yeah, exactly. And we've been seeing them saying, the vaccine's safe. The vaccine's safe. That's all they keep saying. And even when you look on the NHS website, it says vaccines are safe. But then they're saying, when it gets approved. So how does that work? How do you know it's safe if it hasn't been approved? So they're talking on hearsay that it's safe, that they believe it to be safe. They're just filling you that it's safe. But how do we know that it's safe? We don't know that, do we? They've openly told us that it hasn't been approved yet. But then on the other hand, they're telling you vaccines are safe. So how does that work?
Do you know when people say to you, "Oh, what do you know? You failed. You weren't sorry." Go on, Pete.
Well, Sam, mate, thank you. The same guy what's funding the vaccine is the same guy what said he wants to depopulate the planet by 10 to 15%. Say no more.
I forgot, mate.
Yeah. While you're remembering it, I'll just say a quick thing. I've just had Christy from Nottingham basically message me while we was on show saying that they put a petition out for the politicians to get the vaccine first. And the petition company, change.org or whatever it is, have said we're not allowed to publish, or MPs, sorry, Parliament petitions, and the Parliament have said that we're not allowed to publish petitions for forcing medicines on people by force. They have to be voluntarily, but they're allowed to coerce us in public.
Double standards, much.
So you won't be able to fly, you won't be able to drive, you won't be able to leave the country, you won't be able to go to work if you don't have a vaccine. But we can't put a petition into Parliament to say we want the politicians to get it first, because that's against the law. But they're allowed to put the heavy hand on us to have the vaccine, and put millions of pounds advertising it as well, and help the big pharma who we're against. Yeah, carry on, John. Sorry if you remember.
No. It's we need to hand it back over to Thingy if he wants to talk about the vaccine. Oh no, did you have anything else to say, Tom, about the vaccines?
No, you covered it for me.
No, did you not? Yeah, well, literally. No, sorry. No, that's it then. You know by now, surely, the vaccinations, if you've looked into the ingredients in it, you know that each one of them ingredients don't benefit you any on its own. So why is it all going to concoct together and benefit that? It's like, let me just break something down as well, what other people don't think about. Do you know all these protein powders and all this, that, and the other that people are taking? Yeah, they're taking. Now, if someone could inbox me about this and give me some information on it, I'd love to know how it's actually done, because this is my logical thinking about the matter. Do you know, you look on the back of the ingredients in these protein powders, and there's so many ingredients in it, yeah? And you're scooping your own scoop out of there, and when you see how they're made, like on how things are made and that, they're mixed in together, and it like chucks a load of potassium and a load of this and a load of that, and then mixes it together. How do you know in each scoop that you're getting the mixture of ingredient right for the drink? And then when people are eating certain meals and topping themselves up with extra vitamin tablets and this and that, they're overdosing on certain vitamins, and they're doing things inside themselves that they don't actually know what's going on. So certain parts of them are becoming overactive, certain parts of them are becoming underactive, because you'd eaten your 3 meals a day and you'd got enough vitamin B, C or D or whatever, but then you've took a tablet to give you the daily amount of that as well, so you've overdosed on it. You don't know what detriment this has to your body. Yeah, people don't understand the body that much. While I'm talking to you now, I'm wiggling my finger here. If I had an X-ray machine behind me, you'd see a little electric pulse shooting down and across and up my finger. Yeah, and it'd look like magic to you lot, because you're seeing a piece of electric going doo, 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 and shooting through while I'm talking to you, and it ain't taking my concentration away at all. Yeah, there's magic that goes on inside of us that people can't explain and can't understand. Yeah, and we still are looking at these concoctions of heavy metals, which we know do bad for our system, for our pineal gland, or pineal gland, or however you lot say it. But we know that it's bad for most parts of the body, and yet we're happy to let some doo-doo, like Pete said, wants to populate the planet. We're happy for him to chuck them all in a thing with baby fetuses and stuff like that. What is going on, guys? What is going on? The only people that actually will line up to take that is the people who haven't researched about it. If you've done any research into it, you won't do it.
They can't even cure the flu with a vaccine. What makes them think they're going to cure this? And they've already told you that it's going to be multiple vaccines, because it's going to wear off, because the virus is going to mutate, like we've seen in that film Songbird or whatever it is. So it's all programming into hell, basically. They're programming us for hell, for complete control. The New World Order, the Great Resets, complete control. Your freedoms are no more. It's all for the greater good. So they're just trying to get you ready for it in every way.
Yeah, but this is why it sets different levels of fears off with people, though, because you sound like you know it to a level. You know it to the point in where you probably know about the 5G and the 5G masks and the things that they're talking about. Some people who are just waking up, they ain't got a clue about all this. But that's weaponry. That's a weapon system, and like the police and the army, they ain't got a clue about this stuff. The average young lad that I see in the police and the army, they ain't got a clue about this stuff. But that's going to make their jobs obsolete, just the same as machinery and AI is going to make all of our jobs obsolete. Like, do you know what I mean? And then it's going to be a sad world, because humans aren't even needed, are they?
Yeah, well, it's all you have to do is look at the people involved in the vaccination programs and look at the people in, say, for instance, ID 2020, which is digital enslavement. But it's all the same companies, the Rockefellers, Bill Gates, all the same culprits pushing tyranny, pushing this totalitarian agenda. So everyone needs to get ready for it now. It's not a joke. They're not messing about. All this censorship is not a joke either. And I believe that is really the way they're pushing the vaccine and the censorship against it is really waking people up. I believe they're really shooting themselves in the foot because all the hysteria around it, they're actually just completely the other side of the story is abolished, which is never good in anyone's. That's a fascist regime in anyone's book. So people are starting to really realize how much they're pushing it, chatting the other people up, and it's working in our favor, I believe.
By 2030, guys, by 2030, you will own nothing, but you will be happy. They're telling you you will own nothing, but you will be happy.
Yeah, what I'd recommend is everyone to watch the film called Equilibrium with Christian Bale. There's a film called Equilibrium. There's a film called Equilibrium with Christian Bale. And basically that's set in a dystopian future, basically the New World Order, basically, where the people have to take a vaccine to suppress their feelings and emotions every 6 hours on time and keep social distancing, not allowed to have touch sense offences, they call them. So they're not allowed to have holding hand, not allowed to have children, stuff like that.
I think it's take a pill in that one.
Yeah.
I think they take a pill, don't they? Not a vaccine, I'm not sure. So.
No, they take a vaccine injection. Basically.
Oh, right, did they? Sorry.
Yeah. They have like a little gun that they squirt in the neck every time. But basically, Christian Bale, Equilibrium, fantastic film. That's what I saw like 10, 15 years ago when it first came out. And I knew that day was coming from watching that film because they put all of these, planned events inside the films to show how dumb we are, that we're not actually seeing what they planned. But the people that are awake see it clear as crystal, and then they have to wait for it to fold out with no one still being awake. But now it's happening, like John said earlier, in real time. So, Pete, have you got anything to add, mate?
Like Rob said, he says once they've pressed that button, now they've pressed that button, they've got to go ahead with it. They've got to go ahead with everything what's happening. They've chucked their kitchen sink at this, like to the point where at the same time they're getting sloppy. At the same time, it's being rushed. You can see it before your eyes. It's being rushed. It's irrational in the sense of how quick things are moving so fast and how quick and forward things are going ahead and whatnot. It's all happening in quick succession within a year. There's so much happening within this year. And I'm the awake people like myself. I'm awake to all this. You can see it for what it is, and it's so refreshing. You just know what's going to happen before it even happened. I knew they was going to come out with, oh, we're at high alert for terrorist attack. Oh, now you can't protest. Oh, now you can't be in a group. So in terms of what I'm saying, they're getting scared as well. They don't want us marching and taking to the streets. They are going to start stepping back in a sense of how much they're chucking forward. They are going to start taking some back and taking some of the ammunition back what they're chucking our way, because they are starting to see massive amount of people waking up. And I tell you something, Saturday is going to be absolutely massive. I'm saying there's going to be over 100,000 people. Easy. So,
mate, there should be millions by now. I'm not being funny. How many people live in London?
Yeah.
London, stand up. We know that. But even so, in the next breath, if we get over 100,000, I still see that's a big thing. But we keep on moving forward. And I know what John said.
Guys, I've got to go, yeah?
Yeah, no problem, Tom. Thanks for coming, mate.
Tom, thank you for joining us, darling. Sorry we've been a little bit over. We've still got a couple of things to show, but please promise us you'll come back on the Really Woke Show again. We thank you massively. And you've got a massive amount of appreciation in the chat room as well from everybody watching, Tom. Massive love and respect to you, my darling.
Good luck.
Thanks for what you do, Tom.
Yeah. Good night. Have a good night.
See ya.
Bye.
Yeah.
Amazing,
So
Tom. Absolutely amazing.
See you later,
Go on,
Tom.
darling.
Yeah. Now, guys, if that's all right, because we are running a little bit over time.
Are you all right with that? We're just going to change gears real quick. We're
Yeah,
outside.
no problem. Yeah, time flew by. I thought it was going to take forever to go through.
I know,
1 hour,
right?
It flew by. So it's amazing. Yeah.
It's brilliant, isn't it? You literally feel like we've been on for like half an hour and it's like 2.5 hours in. We're like feature length, movie length. But just to switch gears real quick, we are currently looking at footage of outside Derby Infirmary Hospitals.
Yeah.
Riz, this is one of the links that you sent me. I know it's an hour.
But this is the one that Peter, John, and Robert from Nottingham and
Rob's actually here. I'm going to give him a little shout out, man. Here's Rob. Look.
So Rob here was recording the live stream. So it's his stream that I did. Hi, Rob. How you doing, mate?
Just say hello. He said, "How you go, mate?"
Thanks for saying hi to the Really Woke Show, Rob. We massively appreciate your efforts of the day. If it wasn't for individuals filming such as yourself and putting this self-evident truth out there, I'm hoping there's a lot of people in the chat room watching now and on a replay that are now going to be made aware that activism, public speaking is being done outside hospitals that are pertaining to be full up of apparently ill patients. So again, thank you, my darling. Massive respect to you.
Yeah, thanks, Rob.
All right, thanks very much. Cheers, guys.
No worries, no worries.
Well done, Rob.
Peter, I saw you at this video as well. Can you give us a little bit of a what you saw on the day as well?
What's that, lovely?
Am I right in saying that you're at the beginning of this video? I've seen you in this video that I'm looking at right now.
Yes.
Yeah. Can you give the viewers a bit of a synopsis about what happened that day? Why you went there, actually?
So me, John, Rob, Shane, and another lad called David, we all went there to back up and to be back up for terror, in a sense of so they don't get ambushed and get grabbed by the security. Us lads who went there, 5 of us, we sort of felt bad how Tom and Terry got treated the week
Peace force.
So we was there like a common law and like the common law police force. We should, that's what we should be calling it, But anyway, we was there.
Yeah, I think peace force.
Yeah, and what we was doing while we was there was mixing and mingling with the rest of the public, looking like we wasn't a part of Terry while he was speaking, and we all had our phones out. So we was doing 5 lots of live streams at the same time. So again, going back to the networking thing, and that's what we was doing.
We was nicking your job and reporting.
Love it. Love it. Citizen journalists are on the rise. It looks, like I said, it's a self-evident truth that we the people, are the news now. It's up to us to go and report about what's going on in our area and bring that.
Do you know where the police established themselves was the neighborhood watch? It was the people.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. So guys, if you're right, I'm going to play this last portion of the video for everyone so that they can get a bit of a feel of the day. I'm also going to make sure that all these links for all of the videos that I've shown this evening are going to be in the description for everybody to have a literally like a one link stop shop where you can just kind of bulk copy and paste those links and enjoy them at your own leisure as well. Because we have had a couple of clips tonight from content that's literally over an hour long. So you've got yourself, 2 or 3 hours worth of content there if you watch it all the way through, everything that we've shown you this evening. So guys, without further ado, I'm going to play this clip right now for everyone watching in the audience. All right, my darlings? Coolio. Bit of luck.
We're not saying it doesn't exist. It's debatable how serious it is. We're saying it's not as serious as it's being backed out to be. This tyranny being committed, and this government's turning tyrannical. I could see the pandemic is over. Because if they isolate it, if liberties are back, I'll be out. Bless you. We're gone in about 10 minutes anyway. Yeah. Thanks for your conversation. Cheers, man. Cheers, mate.
How we did it and why did it, and questions will then have to be asked. But this COVID-19 has never been isolated.
He was all right, though. I like it. Was all right, though. He was nice to talk to. Yeah, Nottingham. I've been brought up on a rough estate, mate. Bestwood. Yeah, rough estate.
Everything that's taken place has been a massive, on a monumental scale.
Yeah, he was a reasonable guy.
So look,
we had a dialogue, we had a conversation. He said a few things, I said a few things. He went off his way, I went off my way. He wanted to eat it, and he was polite, I was polite.
they can't get rid of you if you're in the group force. If there's too many of you, they cannot suck your licenses from you, which has been happening around the world. Do it from the group force. Get out on the street on your white coat, with your white coats on. Tell them no more COVID fraud. And no more PCR tests. You can refuse to use those PCR tests. There are 93% false positives. Refuse to use them and just go by symptoms. Put them in the bin, folks. Doctors in that building, put your PCR tests in the bin, refuse to use them. They do not work. You know they don't work. All they do is give the governments around the world what they want. 93% on average false positives. You've got to stop using them. And you've got to speak out about this fraud that's taking place.
Tez, 2 minutes, mate, and then we'll go to somewhere else. 2 minutes, mate. And that's how you work with the police. Absolutely brilliant by the police. I know what you're saying, it's debatable, but...
Ladies and gentlemen, if you take the Gates death needle, it will be game over. Look, with this virus, all we need to do is protect them all. Those who've got no immunity, they're the only people who are vulnerable to this. Those in the 80s with no immunity, the immunity system doesn't work.
Everyone on Facebook now, there's 70 viewers on here. I just want to say, these police have been absolutely awesome today. Credit to you. Credit to you. Credit to you today. 2 minutes and we're gone. Credit to you today for your service. Thank you today. Yeah, we're going in a minute. Credit to you, please. Credit to you. Thank you very much. Credit to you.
And there's nanotechnology going into that needle. And it changes your DNA. Doctors around the world have stated
yeah, but we're not going to tell you that sort of information.
No, but I'm saying, you know, it'd be more helpful if he ran with a lot from 12 to 12.
Antennas going in that needle.
Can you come? Because then we can facilitate.
You know the only reason why people don't do that? Because they don't.
And many of the people that
are you with me?
But
you showed us something today.
I get you, but I'm saying that because at the end of the day, he's still a citizen. We've got to protect him. There's people who are very
okay, then.
prone.
All right, then. We'll try it like that one time. And we'll work with it like that.
See what happens.
And see what happens. And if it works like how it should, then, you know, because we want you on our side. Because we're against this government is tyrannical. What's going on? We're becoming a communist country.
Just try it that way.
Yeah.
MIT technology from Massachusetts is going into that needle, into that what's being created. And it will change you. And you'll never get it back. You will never be the same again. This is what the doctors and scientists are stating. When it's gone in, it's not coming back out. So when we take something like Bill Gates.
I lived on Crabtree till I was 9 months old, and then I moved to Bestwood, and I was at Bestwood from 9 months onwards to the point I'm at now. So don't try and do me over on Facebook Live, mate.
So now he's saying he wants to save the world by giving him a needle. Do the two things go together? Of course they don't. Because Bill Gates and the 300 shareholders have an agenda. So start thinking about what you're doing, folks. Chuck these masks in the bin, because they've been proven by doctors and scientists to lower your blood oxygen levels. And also getting problems with your lungs. It's causing people going admitting to hospital all over now with problems on their lungs caused by the mask. Okay, folks, ladies and gentlemen, we're finishing now. Please do your own research and don't take the Gates death needle. If you have a poor immunity system, then boost your immunity by taking zinc, by taking vitamin D3 and vitamin C, which the government are not telling you.
Irish moss.
If the government really wanted to help you, people having a poor immune system, they would have told them that. Take vitamin D3, vitamin C, and zinc.
And Irish moss.
But they've never done this. Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
Roxanne keeps herself on mute and forgets to take herself off mute.
And when we get to a certain time, they start going, "Yeah, you've had enough. You've had." They're like the old Bill. You've had long enough now.
They start grabbing us. They do. When we start taking Michael.
Do you know that video? Can I just explain quickly something about that? Yeah. Terry organised with Rob about he communicated with Rob, and then obviously we all jumped on it, and I wanted to thank a couple of guys, Shane and who's the other one? Shane and who? Shane and David, who come down that day and helped video. Do you know what I mean? And helped basically. That's the kind of security that you can do. And the reason that we're trying to take this approach, because I know that people are saying like good approach, guys, and this, that, and the other. The approach that we are looking to go for is literally your body cams, the body cams that the police use and literally chuck away all the time. Yeah, they're live. They are live, so you get to see everything. Yeah, and as I say, we had a certain tactic where when they came, because me and Rob, who's here today, because we're confident enough to go and talk to police, because he's been security for 27 odd years. Do you know what I mean? So he's seen the ins and outs of how these work, and he's saying the same as us. They're doing nothing but tyranny now. They're pushing nothing but tyranny. You know what I mean? And the way that they're working is completely against regulations, this, that, and the other. Do you know what I mean? So that was organised really quick, really efficient. We didn't cause no trouble. You know what I mean? And that's how this can get done. Do you know what I mean? And Terry on that day went and started speaking, and within 3 minutes the mic was pulled, and the mic was actually pulled by one of their workers. Now, when the guy came out and was pushing for the fact that he wanted us moving on because of the stress that it might cause the patients in the hospital, it's like, well, hold on a minute. With an action, there's always a reaction. Yeah. Now, him stood there speaking, you can't even do him for that. That's not an offence to be done. So did he send his worker out to pull the mic to cause aggravation? Because that happened on the week before as well. Do you know what I mean? So realistically, when he come out, I asked the officers at that point, I said, look, what do we do for next time? If somebody's come out and pulled the wire out of the PA system, can we ring a constable or a police there and get us to assist us? Or should we have got her arrested? Because we could press charges against her. But in respect, this is how respectful we are actually being. Yeah. If we'd have gone and called the police on her, she can't treat anyone that day, and she worked in that hospital. So yet we're out here trying to kill people, are we? And we're out here trying to spread misinformation. And this is something I wanted to touch on earlier as well, like people going on about the whole conspiracy theory things and the internet being such a vast pit of knowledge. People are kind of like, oh, they're chatting shit about at least one aspect of the scale. And all I will say to you is the biggest one that we all argue over with conspiracy theories, and I'll tell you this now, this will either, you'll see your viewings either drop now or not, will be flat and round earth. Yeah, biggest debate. Right, let me ask you something now. If your government were that trustworthy and that, why wouldn't they send a plane due west with a camera on and make it go round and come back on itself just to prove it?
You're not going to get an argument from me, Sunshine.
No, you ain't going to get an argument from no fucker. But the thing is the treaty's been signed, so you'll get blown out of the air. You can't do none of that stuff. And there's only been one thing we've ever agreed on in the past before all of this mass vaccine thing, and that's that you can't explore the Antarctica.
John, it's this current disinformation campaign that we're currently experiencing has got to be the biggest one other than the other one.
Well, a logical theory, people ask so often, why would they do it though? Why would they do it? Why would they make it seem round when it's actually flat? And I can tell you now as a warrior mentality, I can tell you, yeah, if you're a warrior and you've got your millions of followers and you know you're on the edge of an earth, yeah, you can look to your left, look to your right and go, right, we're going to take all of that and forward, and we're going to leave posts everywhere to make sure we get it all. Yeah, you're not going to think an attack's going to come from, because on a flat plane, Someone can't come from around there or around there, but on a ball, you can be attacked from every angle. So it stops the warrior mentality thinking, let's go and claim all this land.
Right.
It does. It stops conquerors. It stops people conquering. But now, this day and age, we don't want to conquer. None of us want to conquer. We want to come together for love, peace, and transparency.
You are right.
Yeah, they do.
It is one of the most contentious topics on Earth to talk about the shape of Earth. It also is one of the biggest trigger points I've ever spoken to people about whether the moon landings have been faked or not. I've been privy to a personal physical attack at Speaker's Corner talking about the subject of the shape of the Earth. Oh yeah, full blown.
Well, my dad believes everything that we talk to him about, and he's open to it all. But he's the most closed guy out of all of us in the family of 5 of us, and he literally thinks the moon landing happened because he watched it on TV. And I'm like, yeah, Dad, this is the same TV that's producing you all the misinformation, and you watch it on the news that you are telling me that they're a bunch of lying twats. And he's like,
we always take the latter option.
We always take the latter. It's
always
always
take the latter option.
And everyone in the chat room, is taking the latter as well.
Yeah.
No, the one thing I can promise you, John, and Riz knows this because Riz, you may as well just tell people what I was doing in Nottingham with a load of people when you actually met me. Do you wanna drop that Moab into the conversation now?
First of all, Roxanne's a citizen journalist now. She's now providing the truth to everyone. But before, when I first met her, we was talking about something you didn't know then about Roxanne, John, is that she was there promoting the flat Earth. Basically, we was there promoting the flat Earth in 2018 to people who didn't know that
This is where
Riz,
I've got to chime in. You know me, I've got to be the conscientious objector here. I was the only one probably promoting the globe being a lie. This is the one thing I want to make a very, very, very strong point about now. Is if you're watching this stream and you're going, whoa, where's this conversation going? The one thing I need you to know that even if you're thinking about switching off in about 30 seconds from now, this is what you need to do. Despite how you've heard the wording of this conversation, here are the facts, right? Instead of me making any claims, I won't claim the Earth is flat. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on its head. And this is for only anyone who's not aware of this conversation. Don't worry,
I ain't claiming that too as well.
Yeah, don't worry, everyone in the chat room, Londonground, all the globe deniers in the chat room, I've got your back on this one, and all the flat earthers in the chat. Don't worry, I've got your back. No claims here are being made. All that's happened is the claim that has been made has been questioned. There's been housekeeping on it. There is absolutely no evidence of curvature that we've been taught. There's no evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core either. And that's just, gas pressure without a container. And go to Nathan Oakley's Flat Earth debate, tis. Can you just do a tis? Nathan Oakley's Flat Earth debate, just go over there and sort your life out, basically. If you want to find out about the actual civilized discourse about this topic, instead of like crazy claims that the Flat Earth Society make everybody that's talking about the shape of the Earth look like a tinfoil wearing hat nutter. Trust me, someone's tried to punch me up at Speaker's Corner about it. That's what I knew. We were on a trigger point.
People haven't used the common sense on the matter again, though. People haven't used the common sense.
How does a dude try and punch a woman because he doesn't like what she's saying to another person?
Wow.
Imagine I'm having a conversation with an old guy that's in his 60s, and this guy comes in because his response was on the camera that I was filming, which wasn't mine, by the way. It was another person's phone. They came in, tried to snatch my camera, and because they missed and I pulled it back, he was like, oh, I'm not having that on camera. So he was like, I'll bop you. And I was like, that didn't happen. That's literally
definitely not.
So I was pulled away, kicking and screaming. I had to do a little bit of self-reflection after that. I was like, I'm in Speaker's Corner, I'm 100 people camera. Like, I can't be doing like crazy like fight movements there, especially when we're just talking about the shape of the Earth. I was like, people have been arguing about whose God is better than whose God at Speaker's Corner for decades. We come along and question the shape of the Earth, and it's let's punch them up. And it's like,
well, this is what I said to you at the beginning of the topic. It will either lose I know what it will do to your ratings. It loses people. But the thing is like I say, a lot of people haven't used common sense on the topic, and I don't claim to know. This is why I said, wouldn't it be good if our government actually put a plane on a camera and just shown us? flew it around, just shown us.
They have done, but they've never shown it us. They've kept it between themselves.
Yeah, but the thing is what I say to people is I've traveled the world. Yeah, I've been to places, when you see stuff with your own eyes, you question everything, mate. You do, and people say, and no one would doubt this. People say to you, "Oh, going abroad, it broadens your horizons on stuff." That's not something that we'd argue over, is it? You know what I mean? Yeah, that's reasonable. You know what I mean? So when you get on a plane and you're driving and you take off and you can see Nottingham there, and then you can see the next city. And you can look at the land in between and think, and we're overpopulated. And and you can look at these things and you can just be like, wow, all right, basically, you ever seen water take a curvature? And then you kind of just, while you're in the air, because you're bored. Do you know what I mean? Because we didn't have devices when we were young. You ask yourself these questions.
I just want to add something. You know, after I met you, Roxanne, in 2018, when I saw you in Nottingham.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? After I met you in Nottingham in 2018, I was employed by a company. Now, I'm not going to say anything about the company, but let me just tell you, because of my science knowledge, they try to control me because they thought this is someone with credibility saying the information about the earth. Yeah. They thought if this guy goes in public, we've got to try to control him in some way. So let me just give you what happened 6 months later. I was working. I was in America. I was with a guy who'd worked for the FBI, the CIA, and all these other companies. And he showed me, he goes, our company built the retro reflector that we put on the moon. I go, yeah, right, you did. And I didn't believe him for shit because I know what I know. But that's what he was trying to convince me. He goes, we made the first laser that went to the moon. And I knew all about the stuff, and I knew they're still trying to dupe me into it by making me be in awe of them. But I wasn't in awe of them. I was actually just laughing at them. But one thing that he did show me that made me a bit surprised was a photograph from the 1940s, which was taken 500 miles away from an aeroplane satellite, which had a higher resolution than the cameras do today. So, and that was back in the 1940s when we was having black and white cameras. They zoomed in on a nuclear power station, and they showed me things that, you know, you couldn't get back. We was only having disposable cameras back then with crap quality images. They had 4K quality images back in the 1940s. Taken from 500 miles away, and we don't know this. So the technology is 20, 30, 40 years ahead of us at all times, but they're keeping the wool over our eyes and trying to keep it all hidden from us. And when we do question their knowledge, when we do have the knowledge ourselves to back it up, they try to get you on side or try to make you look stupid if you go against them. But yeah, I just want to let you know that I've seen the retro reflector and I've seen the company that make the lasers. And the 5G towers, there's a company that make the active deterrent system. Yeah, it's in America. I know which company it is. It's a military company. It's the one company that makes that system. No other company makes the 5G assault weapon that they use in the military. And that can work for 100 kilowatts works 1 mile away, and 30 kilowatts works about 40 miles away. But the big thing that they say about 5G is that all these towers can't kill you because the power is so low. Well, that's true, but they've got cables on them to take the power up to 30 kilowatts to 90 kilowatts. And that distance, they can burn everyone within a 300 meter radius. And they're operating at the frequencies which can burn people.
Did any animal rights people actually get to the bottom of why them birds were pulling at one of them towers?
No, but it's probably that, you know, birds operate, they fly by the magnetic field of the earth. So the 5G towers will influence what's happening, but in terms of the power of the 5G is what I was trying to get at. Is that basically
that should have been looked into.
The system that the American military company made is called the active deterrent system, and that can burn your skin, and you can't stand there for more than 2 seconds in front of that system. It will burn your skin. You stand longer, you'll just be in pain, excruciating pain. And we're going to have 5G towers within 1 mile of each other in our cities, all over the place. And when they choose, they can turn up the power and control us, burn, and to release more of the dose of venom that they want to put in us to make us more dumb or more compliant. You know, these are things that are going to happen, but, you know, people are trying to say we're all idiots. I've got the science knowledge behind me. I understand how, I'm an electronics engineer. I know how the 5G towers are made. So I'm not stupid. I know what they're talking about, just to let you know there, in case you're just thinking I'm another whacker out there. But yeah, go on. Sorry.
No, they need to look up people like Mark Steele on that as well.
Yeah, Mark Steele, Dave Marsh, and allegedly Dave as well.
I'm just letting everyone know, regardless of what your comment is, whether you agree with the chat or not, I'm making sure I put as many of the chat messages up on the screen as well. So don't worry, I am going to get through you all in the chat room and make sure that you get a fair viewing on the screen as well, so that people can at least read and incorporate that into the conversation. And I do thank you all for your input. Yes, that part of the conversation definitely woke up the chat room a little bit. There's a few people in the chat room going, well, that's this chat room going into a few rabbit holes now. Thank you very much. Like, we thought we were closing down for the evening, and now we're just going to start looking at stuff.
We're more than happy to.
Can I say one thing about that? I was literally very new to the whole idea about that. And Lek and Roxanne, they didn't tell me that it was flat or anything, but they just told me the other side of the story, a few bits of information. And it's like everything else. Once you realize roughly what's going on in this situation and what everyone's been lied about over the years, Roxanne revealed to me that all the NASA pictures are not even real. There's just so many things you can question. And all the stuff we've been drip fed over the years is all watered down bullshit in one way or another. So you just got to really just ask questions. That's all I say to people.
Pictures of made by Sophia, the plane in the sky. Sophia with a large telescope, 20-inch diameter telescope in an aeroplane. That's what they take the pictures with. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, so there's a lot of questions to be asked in all fronts. So just get out there and ask them questions. There's never you can never ask too many questions about your own life, your own future, your own.
Always ask why.
Your own freedom. So you got to ask these questions, because the truth. I always say it. The truth does not slap you in the face.
Yeah,
it's hard.
It's like people ask me my opinion and they try to pinpoint me on it. Are you a flat earther? Then? And I say no. If I'm actually honest, I think we're a bowl with rocks that go up. So from some angles, you will look round. You'll look round. It's just the same as anything as well. You take a square object far enough away, it looks round.
If it's all right, can I chime in here? Because I'm absolutely rooting to get Peter's ethos on this. Like, I want to know what your take on this is. And you don't have to say one way or the other. I just love your organic take on it. And yeah, feel no need to feel triggered or obliged, because everyone's all good here. I'm very good friends with people that firmly believe they're on a spinning ball. So yeah, you're all good, darling. Either way, you're all good.
I'm just listening, taking it all in, because that's how I am. I'm like that. I don't accuse or slag or slate people off for having a different perspective as such. I mean, I don't really know what to say on all of this. I'm just listening to everyone's point of views.
Choose your side. Choose your side.
No, choose your side.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Is it 50-50? I really can't.
It's good to be 50-50, Pete. It's good to be 50-50. That's what I'm saying. Structural sin, mate. There's a good and a bad side.
All I know is I don't believe what I'm being told in any sense of the word, and I always choose the latter option. And I don't choose it, but I always look at it, and I always if I can't make my own mind up, I'll stay on the fence, because I don't believe the people that are telling me all the stuff they've been telling me for all these years.
If I can't make my mind up, what I do is I use common sense. Sorry, Pete. I use common sense. I just go to, right, what do I feel, smell, taste, And then to me, I'm sorry, but my head always comes back to when you get a glass of water and tilt it in a car, it keeps the flat all the time. So, yeah, it just, a bowl would make more sense, but I don't know. Yeah, it's weird.
We yield the floor,
well,
Pete.
I don't believe Neil Armstrong was the first man on the moon. I don't believe that at all, one bit. So, I mean, that's out the window. So there's no debating that. But in terms of how the Earth is and what shape it is, I mean, I don't know. My dad's a flat earther. So I don't know. I need to
Big up, Dad. Big up, Dad.
Shout out, shout out.
As long as I can roam about it freely, I'm not actually that bothered. But
That's
when they
my
start
problem.
my freedom, then I start questioning everything that they're doing.
Yes, that is it exactly. Because we're never going to find out if we can't.
Stuff. You know what I mean? But they're not leaving me alone. They're not letting me have freedom of speech. When I went to the police station the other day, they said you're allowed an opinion. I said, well, I'm clearly not, officer. Otherwise, I wouldn't be standing here in front of you. So, freedom of speech is a dying trade. Freedom of thought even is a dying trade because they're taking all the information, the other side of the story, chucking it in the bin. So your freedom of thought's gone. If you speak about it, you get arrested. If you do a protest, you get arrested. If you try and post it about it, they delete your account. So people need to start smelling coffee now. Like there's something they seriously don't want you to find out. So you need to find out what that is. As a good person with your own brain or a good parent who cares about your child, you need to take the responsibility.
It's time now, isn't it?
The story and make your own mind up rather than just following the flock. Because it's gone past that now.
You can just stand there.
Those chats slip. I've got to say, Pete, people are bigging up your dad in the chat room. Your dad's getting full ratings in the chat
Bigging
room.
up dad.
And bigging up the dad massive.
Big up.
Yeah, my dad's the hardest person to convince.
Same. So my dad calls me David Icky.
What Jimmy said.
You went, you got to go to work, mate. You ain't bloody David Icky.
Sorry, Pete. I'll mute, man.
Time, man. Going back to what Jimmy said about freedom of speech and freedom of thought and freedom as an whole, you can literally now just hold a sign and not say nothing. You could have duct tape over your mouth, literally have a sign above your head, just there in silence, just with a sign as such. I mean, you're being silent as it is with a sign, and you can be arrested for that. I mean, with that in itself, I mean, can someone articulate that for me?
Like literally, every sort of our own thoughts, they're even attacking our own thoughts, our thoughts of our children now. We're being told to give our children different thoughts. We've been told our children not to go near other children. We've been told our children to fear, not to go near old people, not to kill their grandparents. We've seen adverts with guns around their faces about this terrible virus. It's got a 99% survival rate and a bloody 93% false positive rate. So people really, this is corrupt now. This isn't a joke. Like, these people are not just doing this to us for a laugh. These people have got an agenda. They have an end goal, which is the enslavement of us, digital enslavement, actual enslavement, whatever enslavement it is. There's privacy issues with the 5G. You were talking about 5G earlier. Whether it's harmful or not, they can see through walls. It's relentless what they're trying to do to us now. So we need to really.
And the fact that was being rolled out while we're on a lockdown, no one questioned that yet. My sister was the first person who I saw doing a video of herself going up to the person up the tower and saying, "What the fucking hell do you think you're doing?" And they were like looking at her, and she got them down the ladder and said, "If you don't get down there, I'm kicking the ladder from under you. You ain't installing none of that system around my mum." Because my mum's got COPD, so she's got like not life support machine, but breathing machinery at home. Yeah. So when it just recently as well, Severn Trent Water come in, we're going to fit the smart devices. They are not smart devices, people. They are to cut off your water from your road to your house. Yeah. So they come in and saying, "Oh yeah, we're fitting a smart meter so that we can track your water." That's a load of bollocks. I'm telling you that now. And when they came to fit him around my mum and dad's ass after they'd already told him no, they still sent a team of people to fit him. My sister went out, and lucky she was there. She said to him, "Will that mess?" But she got him around and got him to call the manager while they were there. And she said, "Will that tamper with my mum's machinery?" And the manager on the phone said yes. Said, "We can't install them around you." So if they'd have installed them, that would have tampered with my mum's machinery, and she could have been in hospital, or it could have killed her.
Yeah. I wouldn't advise anyone getting any smart anything.
This is where it gets sticky, right? When it starts involving your loved ones, your family members. Guys, we've been going for about 3 hours. So before we wrap up, I would like to yield the floor and give you all your soap boxes to get on. And do your call to action for all the viewers listening. Please tell the viewers what you think they should be paying attention to, what you think they should be doing within their community, how you think they could be interacting with their brothers and sisters out there. So Riz, I'll start with you, my darling. I'm going to yield the floor for you. I'm going to put you full screen, and please tell everyone that will be watching on the website, YouTube and Facebook, and all of those that are watching on a replay, your call to action.
Yeah, so basically to everyone who's watching, is that everyone that you see on this show here today that's from Nottingham, and including Roxanne and Jimmy, we're not here for the money. We're trying to wake up the people. So what I'm saying to you is unite people of the world, whatever your differences are, just ignore those, try to overcome them and work together against this big lie that the government's perpetrating against us. Was it Albert Pike or the Rockefeller guy who basically said that their eyes are far, they see far, meaning us. We can see through their stupid plans. And they have planned this out for so long so that it looks completely stupid in terms of we look like the idiots if we try to say that you're lying to us. But what they're trying to do is they've given their handout. We now know who is part of this game plan. We know which members of parliament, which government agencies are all working together. So we now know their plan. We know that all these people work together. Bill Gates, the World Health Organization, the World Economic Forum, the Trilateral Commission, the Zionist states, the China's communist states, all are working together. All nations are working together to create a new world order, or one world government. And we as humanity have to raise up to stop them from trying to fulfill their satanic 10 commandments, which are on the Georgia Guidestones, with it being reducing the population from 8 billion to 7.5 billion. So that removing 7.5 billion by killing them, depopulating them, having only 500 million people alive on this earth who will be subdued with vaccines and be robotic and follow through whatever they ask them. Then there won't be no humans left on this earth. We need humanity. So whatever your race, religion, creed, stick together, no division, all lives matter, all work together for humanity and peace and love. And follow me on RIZLAW Don on Facebook. I'm not doing it for fame. I'm just trying to wake you up. I've got science knowledge if you need it. I've got all the knowledge to back me up. So I'm one of those guys. Well, how do you know that? I know that because I've got the science knowledge, but I'm also a street guy, so I can talk to the normal people on the streets as well. Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Roxanne and Jimmy.
I can't hear anyone. I don't know if you can hear me.
Oh, my little mic was still on mute. Yeah.
Could you hear me? Could you hear me, guys? I wasn't on mute for the last.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Did you hear my speech?
We love a mute up
Riz, my darling, thank you for that. And we're going to yield now to Peter. We're going to put you full screen, Peter. Please give the viewers a call to action for what you think they should be looking at just now, or what you think they should be doing, how they can be helping.
Just waiting to be on the big screen. Right, so
boom.
Are we there?
Big beard.
Stay at home.
Hey, watch, bro.
Some beard, mate. I'll give you that.
Love it.
Love that.
Stay at home, save lives, and save space.
Bearded warrior. Love it.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah,
Next
blah,
time you come on, we want your name, the Bearded Warrior. That's it.
Yeah. But my information I want to give to people is this: recognize the enemy. Recognize this is a war. Recognize this tyranny. Recognize, understand, assess, analyze. Now think of your powers and your strengths and what you can do and what you're capable of. Network. Put yourself around positive people. Try and think positive. I might be coming across positive now, but I've had some doomy, gloomy days. But I know I've got some good people around me now, so I feel comfortable. Again, that's due to me networking. You've got to network. You've got to find your team. Find your team, find your squad. And that's it.
Love that, my brother.
Oh, we completely resonate.
Yeah, well done, Pete, man. That was nice.
And everyone, network with Peter Hastings. Make sure from wherever you are in the UK, connect with Peter so that you can unite with us. And
follow up the Bearded Warrior, Peter Hastings.
Follow the Bearded Warrior, Peter Hastings. Well said. Well said. Absolutely love that. Absolutely love that. Thank you, my brother. And thank you to all of you in the chat room as well that are commenting as well just now. We're going to yield the floor to John. Please get on your soapbox and give a call to action to all of you.
Rob.
Right. Basically, communicate. Yeah, you need to from people from all areas, from all backgrounds. Yeah, communicate with us now, because we've got some ideas that we want to put into fruition. Yeah, we want to get them going ahead. We need to get them going ahead. Basically, it's not we want to get them going ahead. We need to get these things going. But in terms of the information, don't information overload yourself. Yeah, first thing to do is simplify it. Yeah, and this is what I would say to any of you individually, and this is why I say, like, mental health wise, if you want to call, if you want to ring, I'll talk to you. Yeah, because I have this mind that if I can't simplify something, I can't explain it. If I can't explain it to a child, I don't understand the concept of what's going on. Do you know what I mean? I don't understand it. So I just try to simplify absolutely everything to its simplest form. And that's all you've got to do. That's common sense.
Yeah, I can completely agree with that, John. I always say to people, if you want to win battles, just win small little battles and keep winning them. Just you haven't got to win the world. You haven't got to come out with everything, depopulation, Just hit them with really simple facts that how they contradict the narrative. And that's the easiest way around it. And then you give them their own seeds to go off and look at their own information.
What I would add is,
and while we're on the subject of networking, we're really excited to announce that the website has now chat forums, 11 different chat forums. We're open to create more. We have Save Our Children, which has been censored on all other platforms. We have a general protest, vaccine, all different types of forums. So get yourself on there. You can't be censored. It's free registration. So get on there, because even Telegram, that could be taken down. MeWe could be taken down. They could take down BitChute, like we've seen, Twitter, YouTube.
Well, this is why I say do a local spot gathering. I'm sorry to cut you up there, Timmy, but we've literally, Jimmy, sorry, we've got to literally localize, because you know when it all does go off, every app's gone, every device is gone. So I understand what you're saying. It's good to and for the terms of the show and everything and building numbers, it's all great. But do not forget the importance of the simplest one of all. One location point in your town so that you all can get there and be together.
I love that idea as well, mate. That's a brilliant idea to keep, because like I said, there's people that go to marches all over from around the country. You can't be around each other all the time. You need to build foundations in your own area to protect yourself. And but as a rule of like people moving around platforms, that's where I was going with that one, networking. I like to tell people to take a piece of paper out with them. So if you do run out of your battery, you can still write down their information. But as a rule of platforms, as we're talking about, Instagram will be deleting accounts.
And advocating for Telegram, MeWe, Parler, all of these other platforms that will induce the same amount of censorship eventually.
We need to direct it to the one.
That's it. You've got brand new YouTube, you've got BitChute. There's a lot of other platforms that are very similar to ours that are advocating for sharing other people's work. So as I just told you, back in the day, I was an activist myself. I've now taken a back seat and I'm now trying to create a platform so that activists and public speakers
You've done a good job
have a place to keep their work
very
safe.
good job.
How many people have done an incredibly important live stream, right? With some very, very important information said by doctors, right? How many people have live streamed the doctors that have been out on the roads, right? And then had their live stream taken down. Content now.
Something I just want to add, Roxanne.
Unless we've got individuals that have platforms of their own that are prepared to hold and share other people's work and advocate for them like the mainstream media should be. But we all know they're the fourth branch. They advocate for news values. It's their job to sell moral panic and give partisan information. It's our job as citizen journalists to give truth and transparency. Whether I agree with it or not, I will share the information, because it's up to those to take that information and to know it.
You've got to look at the opposite side of everything as well, because I've done it. People say to me, "Oh, you're a bit of a conspiracy theorist, though, aren't you?" And I go, "Mate, I've looked at your side. Don't worry." And then I've told them more information than they've ever even heard of about their side of the topic, and they're like, "Bloody hell!" And I'm like, "Yeah, so don't come at me like that, mate. I've made a smart decision on which side of the fence I wanted to take on all of the aspects of things that I've researched into myself. So I'm not claiming to be no great mind, but I'm claiming to have probably one of the best common senses that I know around me, because I use them. I use the senses, so it gives me common knowledge."
Yeah. So I just wanted to add for Roxanne, basically, support Roxanne because she does a fantastic job, and I want you to know, Roxanne, yourself, that you've got three guests that you had here today that didn't know about the Really Woke Show. So John, Tom, and Pete. And then you've got all the people from Nottingham who were made aware of the Really Woke Show, now knowing about it. So just to give you an idea, Roxanne does a really good job when she's on a street, citizen journalist now. So going to events, reporting what's happening. But Roxanne can't be in every city, in every location. So just like how we've set up, where we've got me, might know the knowledge, might be able to speak to people. You've got John being able to speak fantastically. He'd be a fantastic Roxanne in Nottingham. So, but then once we build that community of people all around the UK, we can liaise with Roxanne and give that information across to her and get it out to the whole world. And that's the way we need to become, network together.
Yeah.
Roxanne has gained at least 300 viewers from Nottingham today. We need to do that in every area, and then we need to connect together. At least what I'm trying to say is new people are connecting all the time.
Networking for king.
Me, Peter, and John only met up in the crisis that's happened now. We never knew each other before this, but this is the new family we're making.
And they're both my brothers.
Yes, brothers. Love for each other.
As I said, it's a platform for citizen journalists and content makers to use. So the site is still under construction, but we will have sections so that content makers will be able to have sections so that you can go to the Nottingham section and all of the amazing content makers such as yourself can have your work published there. It won't be me trying to say it's my work, if that makes sense. I will be advocating for.
We've got no egos here. We don't mind you taking that responsibility.
So I feel like, and this is something that I want to be a trend. I don't want to be the only platform doing this. I'm hoping that this is going to inspire other platforms to go, okay, even if I'm not going to be a public speaker at this point, even if I'm not as well versed as these other individuals, I'm going to try and elevate those individuals as best as I can. Why? The media has done the worst task ever. They're complicit, they're guilty of treason on all levels. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of these figureheads in mainstream media in the dots in the next few months.
Hopefully.
What they've done to the people of this country is abhorrent. They've lied to the people of this country. They've made the people of this country think there is no one out there marching for freedom. No one. Absolutely no one. They think it's an absolute ghost town. There is people contacting us every day, isolated within their families, isolated within the algorithms of their social media, not allowing them out of that bubble of information. So we all need to understand that we are in this together and we need to learn how to play nice. There's absolutely no more room for arrogance and self-importance where everyone, as in humanity, is talking about these most contentious topics right now. We're at a time in our life when humanity is going to get to the precipice, and only then will they find the will to change. We've discussed that this evening. People are coming to the precipice at different avenues. They're coming to the truth in different ways. We've pretty much all ascertained that the lockdown has given people the time to discern fact from fiction. We've now got a time where we've got the mass populace questioning the mainstream media. I'm not quite sure I've spoken to anyone in the last 6 months who says they believe what the government's telling them, what the mainstream media is telling them. 2 years ago, you would have had more than 50% going, oh, why would they lie? How many times did you come up against people? Why would they lie to us, though? Why would they lie?
Every time,
Too many people would have to know.
Yeah.
For it to be a lie.
Well, it's the biggest operation on the planet, the misinformation campaign. They've been planning it for decades. Now we need to make it the biggest operation on the planet to pull the cloak off it.
That's right, yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure there's a programmer out there somewhere that wants to write an algorithm for us to depict on the internet all the actual true knowledge. Surely there's someone out there that can do that. And if this gets to that guy, start developing that. That'll make you some stuff. Do you know what I mean? We need all of these smart minds to start coming together for us, developing us apps. I need an app developing. So if someone who is an app developer, come my way. If you can do it with ease, if you're one of them people who can just do it easy, come talk to me. I need you.
Right, I have spoken to someone that is capable of doing that through a not the same as what Roxanne's got with her exact tone thing. You can do it via other people slightly for a little bit cheaper, but to do your own app is a lot of money.
Yeah, because see what I mean, like programming, technology, I ain't got a clue in none of that side of things. Like that's one thing I've never looked into.
Divided we fall as brothers and sisters. It's time to take down the barriers, take down the picket fences that the institutions that we've been taught to trust the most have put between us. And I'm talking about the biggest just think to yourself, who have they taught us to trust the most? And there's where to start looking. John, Peter, Riz, please let this be the first of many times that you come on the Really Woke Show and correspond with us about.
Also, as well, I've got Rob here. He wants to come on one time as well.
Please do, Rob. You're more than welcome on the Really Woke Show anytime, my darling. We'd love to have you, sweetheart.
She said you're welcome on, Rob, anytime.
Perfect. Everyone in the chat room, you've been amazing. Riz, Peter, John, I can't thank you enough for spending the time.
Thank you, Roxanne.
Yeah, thank you for giving us this platform to be on. Thank you very much, and it was a pleasure to meet the pair of you as well. It was, big fist to the pair of you.
Hopefully, we'll be able to see you soon in person. We'll come and cover what you're doing in Nottingham. We'll make a pilgrimage up there, and we'll come and film and interact with you in person.
Yeah, that's a daytime one as well. We can go and come back.
Exactly.
Definitely. I'll be happy to come and give you guys some content as well and do some simplifying speeches, because I think that's what we need to do.
Brilliant.
Fantastic. Also, as well, anyone around the Nottingham area, sorry, before we go, anyone around the Nottingham area that does want any, like, our little team to come and video your little things, get in touch with me, Rob, P, Riz, get in contact with any of us, we're all in the same little group chat, we're all wanting to do the same thing. Do you know what I mean? So just if you're around Nottingham and you want to keep your shop open and you're getting harassed by police and you want a presence and a few good minds that can tell you some stuff to talk, we'll help you. Keep your businesses open, guys. Come on, open up now. Let's get Nottingham pumping again.
That's it. And you said about having your local meeting point. Where's yours in Nottingham, lads?
Your little meeting point, Market Square. And then if that fails, if you get there and there's a big police presence, Nottingham Castle. Be at the Robin Hood statue. Let's go to the Robin Hood statue. In fact, that one should be the first one. Robin Hood statue. Forget the square, because we know about squares and we know about all of their little box mentalities. Do you know what I mean? So let's say the Robin Hood.
Square and compass, Freemasons.
Let's say the Robin Hood statue. So anyone in Nottingham, if the shit hits the fan, get to Robin Hood, and I guarantee I'll be there.
Absolutely love that. Peter, John, Riz, chat room. Thank you so much.
Thank you, chat room.
Yeah, thank you, chat room. Thanks all the viewers.
Thanks for all your input. Thank you for viewing this today, and share the message to everyone.
It's all about love, peace, and transparency.
Love that. Thank you, my God. Until next time, you've all been watching the Really Woke Show.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Pleasure meeting you.
Bye.